Welcome to Easy Learning zed-Mathematics. The future is bright. In this video, I'm going to go through Mathematics Paper 1 for GCE 2025. This paper was written on Thursday, 7 August 2025. So, in this video, I'm going to answer question 1 up to question 23. I'm going to answer all the 23 questions that are in this paper. So, all I want you to do is watch this video up to the end. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you find this video helpful, remember to like and share with your friends. Please make sure let's grow together. Okay, we come to question 1, which is as follows. We come to question 1, which is simplify 2 open bracket y minus 3 close bracket minus 3 open bracket 2 minus y close bracket. Okay, so to solve this one, what we're going to do first is we are going to first write this expression. So we're going to write the expression, so the entire expression, which is 2 open bracket y minus 3 close bracket minus 3 open bracket 2 minus y. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand these expressions. So that means I'm going to multiply every element in brackets by the number which is outside. So 2 times y will give me 2y. 2 times negative 3 will give me negative 6. Negative 3 times 2 will give me negative 6. Negative 3 times negative y will give me positive 3y. Okay, now once I've done this, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put like terms together. So I've got 2y, then 3y will come next to. So we're going to have plus 3y, then minus 6 again. Okay, remember this is minus 6. Okay, so we've written that. We say 2y plus 3y will give us 5y. Okay, which is negative 6 minus 6. So since we have got two negatives, negative 6 and negative 6, so the signs are the same. We're going to indicate the sign, which is a negative sign. Then we combine 6 and 6, which will give us 12. Okay, and this is the answer. So here it's written answer. We're going to write 5y minus 12. Okay, so basically that's how you go about that one. Okay, if you have got questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. We come to question 2, which is as follows. Evaluate that number, which is 16 over 81, and that should be a number that is multiplied 4 times to get 16 and 81 respectively, raised to the power of 3. Okay, so what we can do is now is we can write that expression. Let me just write it down here. Okay, then we have got 4, then we have got 16 over 81, all of that raised to the power of 3. Okay, so what we can do is now we can do this. So what it means when you have 4 and the numbers there inside, what we are trying to do is we want to find a number that we can multiply 4 times to get 16. Okay, what number is that? So when you multiply 1 by 1 4 times, we're going to get 1. If we multiply 2 by 2 4 times, we'll get 16. So the number that we can multiply 4 times to get 16 is 2. So I'm going to write 2 there over. What number can we multiply 4 times to get 81? So we have 3. So if we say 3 by 3 times 3 will give us 9, times 3 give us 27, times 3 give us 81. So 3. So we have 3 there, and then we do like this, raised to the power of 3. Okay, so what we do now, we distribute the power. So we say 2 raised to the power of 3 over 3 raised to the power of 3. So what it means here, we are going to multiply 2 by 2 by 2. So 3 raised to the power of 3 is the same as we multiply 2 3 times, which will give us 8. Okay, then remember we distributed the powers, which is 3. There are 3 raised to the power of 3. That means we multiply 3 times 3 times 3, which will give us 27. Okay, so that means our final answer is going to be 8 over 27. Okay, so that is the answer that you recorded there. Okay, please, unless if my explanations are not clear, you can still ask in the comment section. If you find that my explanation are not all that clear, you can ask in the comment section. I'll be glad to explain to you. But basically, that's how we go about this question. Okay, we come to question 3, which is factorize completely 2ab minus 3b plus 10a minus 15. Okay, so what you can do is, to work out this one, what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite the expression, which is let me say 2ab, okay, minus 3b, okay, plus 10a minus 15. Okay, so what we can do now is we put these terms in 2 categories. So this one and this one. Okay, so what we do is we factorize now. Okay, what is common in these 2 terms? So we can see that b is found in 2 terms, so we can put b outside. Is there any other number or variable? Do 3 and 2 have a whole number which is a common factor apart from 1? Okay, the only factor that 2 and 3 have, the common factor is 1, okay, which we can't use unless if we had any bigger number, 2 or 3. Okay, now since it's just 1, we're not going to use it, so we're going to use b. So b into 2ab, it will go how many times? How many times will b go into 2ab? It will go 2a times. Okay, then how many times will b go into 3b? Into negative 3b, it will go negative 3 times. Okay, so in other words, it's like we're cancelling out b in those terms and we'll record what is remaining. Okay, then again we factorize here. We say we look at these numbers. Okay, these numbers in the brackets, 10a and 15. So we ask ourselves, do 10 and 15 have a common factor apart from 1? A common factor, so I mean highest common factor, which is a number that can go into 10 and 15 without leaving a remainder. We know that 5 can go into 10 and 5 can go into 15. Okay, there is no other number that can go into 10 and 15. The highest number, there is no that number. We can have 1, but we are not considering 1, so 5. So we're going to use 5. So we say 5. Okay, 5 into positive 10a, it will go 2a times. Okay, 2a times. So you can also try to say 5 times 2a will give us 10a. Okay, then 5 into negative 15, it will go negative 3 times. Okay, now at this stage, once you have factorized like that, you should make sure that these numbers that are in brackets are the same. You can see we have got 2a minus 3 and 2a minus 3. So how do we go about it? So what you can do is, first I'm going to record what is in the bracket, 2a minus 3 close bracket. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open bracket, then I'm going to take this factor, which is b, and this factor, which is 5. So it's a plus 5. That. Okay, then we put it in bracket. And this is the final answer. So we can come here where it's written answers. We can write open bracket 2a minus 3 close bracket, open bracket b plus 5, like that. Okay. Okay, we come to question 4, which is solve the equation 1 over 2 x squared minus 8 is equal to 0. Okay, so what we do to solve this one, what are we going to do to solve this one? So to solve this one, what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite the expression the way it is. So we're going to say 1 over 2x squared minus 8 is equal to 0. Okay, so what we're going to do next, the next step we're going to take is we're going to put like terms together. That means we're going to have 1 over 2x, okay, squared. Then this one will close the equal sign, so we're going to say equal to 0. Then 8 will close the equal sign and become positive, so we say plus 8. Then what we need to do is we write 1 over 2x squared is equal to, then 0 plus 8 will give us 8. Okay, so what we can do now here is we want to get rid of the fraction. So what you can do is we multiply both sides by 2. Okay, so it's okay if you multiply by the reciprocal of 1 over 2, which is 2 over 1. It's okay. So for me, I'm just going to multiply by 2 like this. Okay, so that means these 2 and these 2 cancel each other out, leaving us with the 1 times x squared will give us x squared. Then 8 times 2 will give me 16. So now to find the value of x, what I'm going to do is I'm going to square both sides. I'm going to square both sides. Okay, then what I'm going to do is this: square root of x squared is x, okay, which is equal to square root of 16 is 4. So the value of x in that equation is 4. So therefore we can say the value of x, remember the square root of 16 is positive 4 or negative 4. So positive or negative 4. Okay, so we are saying positive or negative 4. So here our answer will be positive 4 or negative 4. Okay, so you need to make sure I get that zero right. Okay, if you are enjoying this video up to this stage, please, I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and give it a like. If you haven't shared this video with your friends, please make sure you share with your friends. If you have any contribution or question that you want to ask, please you can ask in the comment section. We'll be glad to respond to your question. We come to question 5. Use set notation to describe the shaded region in the Venn diagram below. Use set notation to describe the shaded region in the Venn diagram below. Okay, so let's take time and study the diagram. So we have set A, which is partly shaded. We have set B, which is full completely not shaded, and we have got set C, which is also fully not shaded or completely not shaded. Okay, so the question is for us to write a set notation that describes the shaded region. Okay, so what we can do is as we look at the shaded part, which is set A, set A is shaded, and then we have got set B and set C, which is not shaded. So the set notation that can describe the shaded part is A intersection open bracket B union C complement. Okay, so I know some people are saying, sir, the answer is B union C complement. Okay, so this answer, the one that is I see majority of the students writing, is correct if there was no Venn diagram. Okay, there was no rectangle shape outside. Okay, but if there is a rectangle like this one, the universal set, if there is a universal set outside, there are elements that can be in universal set, then that means this answer is not correct. Okay, so in case in the universal set, in the rectangle area, there is a number, that means when you say B union C complement, that means that number, if we had 8 here, this 8 is also a member of B union C complement. So which means it can't state if you have 2 here, that means their answer is going to be 2 comma like that. So it will have 2 elements. Now since we want just to describe that, that's why this one will answer them. Okay, if you have got questions, I'm here to answer them. if you found this video helpful, remember to like and share with your friends. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this one. Okay, we come to question 6. A company with 6,000 shares declared a dividend of 56,000 kwacha. What amount will BET receive for her 36 shares? Okay, so to find the answer, the correct answer for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to say 6,000 shares is equal to a dividend of 56,000 kwacha. Okay, now how much will BET get, or get for 36 shares? So she has got 36 shares. How much is she going to get? We don't know, so we call it X. Okay, so what we do is we cross multiply. That means we're going to have 6,000 X, because cross multiply 6,000 times X will give us 6,000 X, then times we have 36 times 56,000 kwacha. Okay, so what we can do is we can divide both sides by 6,000 just to simplify. Now we don't have to multiply the numbers that on the right side, because you are going to get a bigger number. So before you do that, let's first divide both sides by 6,000 kwacha. Okay, 6,000 kwacha. Okay, that means the 6,000 here and here will cancel each other out, leaving us with X, which will be equal to, then the 3 zeros here and these 3 zeros will cancel each other, leaving us with 6 kwacha and 36. Now 6 into 36, 6 into 6, it's 1. 6 into 36, it will go 6 times. Okay, now what we're remaining with, 6 times, okay, 56 kwacha. Okay, so what do we do now? What we can do is now we can say X is equal to, so what we do is 6 times 6 will give us 36. Remember, I'm trying to multiply 56. Okay, 56 times 6. So what are we going to get? 56 times 6. 6 times 6 will give us 36. So I'm going to write 6 carry 3. 6 times 5 will give us 30, plus 3 will give us 336. Okay, so 336 is the amount, or is, yes, is the amount that BET will get, 336. So here where it's written answer, I'm going to write 336 kwacha. Okay, so if you have got questions, you can ask in the comment section, but basically this is how we go about this question. Okay, we come to question 7. Question 7 is as follows. The formula for the nth term of an arithmetic progression is 2n minus 3. Find the A, first term, B, common difference if the sum of the first 8 terms is 48. Okay, so let me start with A. Okay, so I'm going to write A here. So we are already given the formula. So we're going to say this is A, not 9, please. So we're going to say 2n minus 3. Okay, so what do we do now? We know that we want to find the first term. So we're going to say 2 times 1 close bracket minus 3. So I'm going to evaluate 2 times 1 will give us 2 minus 3. So which one is big between 2 and 3? So 2 is bigger. So we're going to maintain, 2 and 3, which one is bigger? We know that 3 is bigger. So we're going to maintain the negative sign of 3. Then we find the difference of 3 and 2, which is 1. So the first term is, so where there is space for question A, I'm going to write negative 1. Okay, now we come to B, which is find the common difference if the sum of the first 8 terms is 48. Okay, So to find the common difference, what we're going to do is this. Let me write B here. Let me write B here. Okay. Then the formula I'm going to use is Sn is equal to n over 2. Okay. Then open bracket. Then I have got 2a plus open bracket n minus 1 close bracket d close bracket like that. Okay, so what I need to do now, I just have to replace the letters by their numerical value. So Sn is equal to the sum of the terms, which is 48, which is equal to n is 8, there are 8 terms, divided by 2, open bracket, 2a, that is the first term, which is we found to be negative 1. So 2 times negative 1, then plus, then open bracket, n, that is 8, minus 1, close bracket, d, close bracket, that. Okay, then what I need to do is just to evaluate that. So I'm going to have 48 is equal to 8 divided by 2 give me 4. Then open bracket, 2 times negative 1 give me negative 2, plus 8 minus 1 will give me 7. 7 times d give me 7d, close bracket like that. Okay, now once I have done like that, so what I need to do is now easy, just to come up with expand these. I'm just going to expand these. So I'm going to have 48 is equal to 4 times negative 2 will give me negative 8, then plus 4 times 7 will give me 28d. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put like terms together. So I've got 48, then 8 will close the equal sign and become positive 8 is equal to 28d. Okay, then next what I'm going to do is I'm going to evaluate 48 plus 8 will give me 56, which is equal to 28d. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by 28 and this side by 28. So okay, so let me just see, come this side so that I don't confuse people. So I'm going to say 28 into 28 and 28 will cancel each other, leaving me with d, which is equal to, then 28 into 56, it will go 2 times. Okay, so the value of common difference is 2. So I can say d is equal to 2. So if you are able to write the entire weight common difference is equal to 2, it's okay. But if in writing d is equal to 2, your answer will be marked. Okay, if you will be marked correct. So this is how you go about it. If you have got questions, please, I'm here to answer your questions. If there are no questions, this is basically how you solve this question. We come to question 8. Let's start with question 8a. If a is equal to negative 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 4, find a transpose. So find a transpose. So when you're finding a transpose of a matrix, if you just turn the rows into columns and columns into rows. So what you can do is we can say A, or that means matrix A transpose is equal to, so what we have negative, let me open first, then we have negative 1, 3, 1, then 2, 0, 4, like that. Was it like that? Now that is the transpose. Okay, so we can still go and record this answer down here where the answer is supposed to be. So we can say A transpose is equal to, open bracket, negative 1, 3, 1, 2, 0, 4, like that, then close bracket. That's how you answer them. Okay, let's hope I haven't made mishaps on numbers, so that is how you write the transpose. Okay, we come to question 8b, which is as follows. Given that 2, negative 2, 1, x, negative 2, multiplied by 3, 1 is equal to negative 7, negative 5, 7. Find the value of x. So what we're going to do is we're going to open bracket. I'm going to just multiply as usual, as we multiply matrices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply negative 2 by 3. So I'm going to open small bracket and then say negative 2 by 3, close bracket, then plus open bracket, negative 1 times 1. So negative 1 times 1. So I have negative, I have 1, negative 1, 1 times 1. So I have 1 times 1, 1 times 1. Okay, just like I'm showing on this line. Okay, then after that, I'm also going to multiply x by 3. So it will be open bracket, x by 3, close bracket. Remember, this is x by 3. Okay, then plus open bracket, negative 2 by 1. So I have negative 2 by 1, close bracket, and then that, close the bigger matrix, then we say is equal to negative 5, 7. Okay, like that. Okay, now once we do that, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to evaluate what is in the bracket. So we have got, I'm going to open the bigger bracket, then we say negative 2 times 3 give me negative 6, plus 1 times 1 give me 1, then again come down, x times 3, x times 3 give me 3x, then plus negative 2 times 1 give me negative 2, close bracket. Then we do like this, which is equal to negative 5, okay, negative 5, 7. That is the matrix. Okay, now once I've come up with this expression, now here we can even ignore the other details, so we can just concentrate on these, because we know when we add these two terms will give us 7, so we concentrate on those, that expression. So here we can say we can come up with something like this. Now here we just concentrate on the bottom line, so we can say 3x plus negative 2 is equal to 7. That's what you do in an exam, and the markers will give you marks after you get your correct answer. If you at this stage you do like this, it's okay, the markers will give you the all marks. Okay, so then what we do is now we evaluate. So what we do now, put like terms together. Okay, so I've got 3x. So what you can do first, we these times in the positive times, negative 2 will give us negative 2, which is equal to 7. Okay, so now once we have done that, the next thing we're going to do is now we can put like terms together. So that means we do have 3x here is equal to 7, then 2 cross the equal sign and become a positive, so it's going to be plus 2. Then what we do is we evaluate that, so we're going to say 3x is equal to 7 plus 2 will give us 9. Then we divide both sides. We divide both sides by 3 so that we find the value of x. So we divide both sides by 3, this one and this one. So we have x, which is equal to 9 divided by 3. 9 divided by 3 will give us 3. So the value of x is 3. So here, where we are supposed to write the value of x, we can say x is equal to 3. Okay, so you make sure you record your answers on the spaces that are provided. More especially with paper 1, the main concern is if the answer is correct. So make sure you do that. Okay, we come to question 9, which is as follows. The probability that Gift will not be late for a job interview is 0.05. What is the probability that he will be late for the interview? Okay, so the probability of Gift that will not be late for interview is 0.05. What is the probability that he will be late for the interview? Okay, so to find the probability that he will be late for the interview, so the total of these two probabilities, she will be late for interview or she won't be late for interview, the total is 1. So what you can do is you can just subtract 0.05 from 1. Okay, so we can say probability, okay, probability that she will be late for interview, that he will be late for interview. So probability of being late for the interview is equal to, so what we do is we just say 1 minus 0.05. okay, so how do we find that? How do we subtract that? So what we need to do is I'm going to show you here on the right side of the screen. What we're going to do is we're going to say 1, see, it has got 2 decimal places, so we're going to say 1.00. okay, this will help you not to make a mistake. Then we say minus 0.05. okay, then what we do is now we just find the difference. So 0 minus 5, it can't take away 5 from 0. So what we need to do is we borrow 1 from a neighboring. Now we can see that our neighboring number is 0. So we borrow 1 from this 1 here. So the remaining is 0 here. It comes here, it becomes 10. We borrow 1, it means 9. Then it comes here, it becomes 10. Then we say 10 minus 5 will give us 5. Then 9 minus 0 will give us 9. And then we have a decimal point. 0 minus 0 will be 0. Okay, because that is the whole number 0. So the answer is 0.95. So the answer is 0.95. So the probability that if to be late for work is 0.95. okay, so what I can do is I can come here and record my answer 0.95. okay, that is a probability of Gift going late for the job interview. Sorry. Okay, now let's go to question B, which is solve the equation 2x minus 1 is equal minus 2x 2 raised to the power of x minus 1 minus 4, which is equal to 0. Okay, so to solve this one, what we're going to do is I'm going to write the expression, which is, I'm going to say B. The expression is 2x minus 1 minus 4 is equal to 0. Okay, so what we can do now is we put like terms together. So we're going to have 2x minus 1 is equal to 0 plus 4. Okay, then what we do is we have 2x okay, we are saying 2 raised to the power of x minus 1 is equal to 0 plus 4 will give us 4. Okay, then what we need to do is we need to have the same base. So that means we are going to write 4 with a power so that it has the same base. We're going to write 4 in indices. So we're going to say 2x minus 1 is equal to, so now the number that we can multiply twice to get 4, okay, is 2. 2 times 2 give us 4. So we're going to have 2 raised to the power of, okay. Now since we have the same base, the numbers have got the same base. Sorry, since the numbers have got the same base, we can cancel out the bases. Then we remain with the powers. So the powers we have is x minus 1 is equal to 2. Okay, so what we can do now is we can put like terms together. It means we're going to have x is equal to 2, then negative 1 will cross the equal sign and become positive 1. Then we say x is equal to 2 plus 1 will give us 3. So we can say the value of x is equal to 3. Okay, so basically that's how we answer this one. If you have got questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. If you haven't joined our WhatsApp group where we are sharing we are going through question papers and sharing ideas on how to solve questions, please make sure you click the link that is in the description box. You can join our WhatsApp group. Okay, we come to question 10, which is as follows. Given that p is equal to x such that 10 is less or equal to x and x is less or equal to 20. X is a prime number. List set p. Okay. So we are told to list set p. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a set here as we are solving. So we are told x is a prime number. So what we need to do is we need to identify prime numbers between 10 and 20. Okay. So what are prime numbers? Prime numbers, these are numbers that have got two factors, that is 1 and itself. Okay, when I say itself, let me give an example. 11 is a prime number. It has just two factors, which is 1 and 11. Okay, so that will be the first one. Okay, then when we look at 12 has got many factors. 2 can go into 12, 1 can go into 12, and 12 itself. So already there are many. When we look at 13 also has just got two factors, which is 1 and itself. Okay, so we write 13 here. Then we'll come to 14. It has got many factors. 15 as well, 16 as well. When we look at 17 has got only two factors, 1 and itself, so we write 17. Then when you look at 19, also 19 has got two factors, because 18 has got many factors, 3, 6, those factors, they are more than 2. So we are told to list the elements or the numbers that are prime numbers, which means numbers that have got 2 factors. So 18 has got more than 2 factors, so 19 has also got 2 factors, so 19 will also written. Okay, so basically that's how you find the answer. So what we can do is we can go to the area where we're supposed to enter. So we can say p set p is equal to, okay, like that. Then we say 11, 13, then after 13 we have 17, then we have 19. These are the elements of set p. These are elements of set p. Okay, we come to question 10b, which is the diagram shows a sector POQ arc PQ subtends an angle of 45 degrees at the center. Okay, so we can take time and look at what has been described in B there with what is true. Then the question is, given that the area of POQ is 77 centimeters squared, calculate the radius of the sector. Okay, so we can say to calculate the radius of the sector, we need to write the formula for finding the area. So we can say area is equal to area of the sector of a circle. We can say it's equal to theta. Okay, sorry, the theta is not well written, over 360 degrees times pi. Okay, times pi. So first of all, let me just write so that then we have pi. Let me just write the formula, then radius squared, like that. Okay, now what we can do now here is we can go ahead. Let me come this side. So we say what we are given the area, which is 77 centimeter squared. Then theta, we are told that is 45 degrees, so we can go there on the that angle there is 45 degrees. Okay, over 360 degrees. Remember, this is degrees. Then pi, we are told we use 22 over 7. So we say 22 over 7, then times radius squared, which we don't know. Okay, so once we have gotten this, what we can do is we can go ahead and start simplifying. So how many times will, first of all, let me deal with the fractions first. So we say we can even write it 77 centimeter squared. Okay, this is the area of that sector. Then we say here we say 45 into 45, it will go 1 time. Then 45 in 360, it will go 8 times. Okay, let me put 8 here because I can further divide it with the 22. Okay, so you can say 8. So sorry, what I need to do is 2 into 8, it will go 4 times. 2 into 22, it will go 11 times. So we can say here down where there is 360, we have got 4, then times 11 over 7 times r squared. Okay, so what you can do now, here there is no other number that can go into both, so what you can do is we can just multiply. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply. So it's a 77 centimeter squared is equal to 1 times 11 will give me 11 times r squared. So 11 times r squared will give me r squared over, okay, so over, then what do? We say 4 times 7 give us 28. Okay, give us 28. So what you can do now here, what you can do is just say over 1 and we do cross multiply. Okay, so when we do cross multiply, so we're going to have 11 r squared, because 1 times 11 r squared will give us 11 r squared, then times, then what you do is because if I multiply 77 and 28, it's going to give me a bigger number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write I'm going to say 77 centimeter squared. So this is 77 centimeter squared times 28. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to divide both sides by 11. Okay, so here by 11, and also here we divide both sides by 11. So this 11 and this 11 will leave us r squared. So I want to encourage you not to multiply numbers very fast. You're going to waste time multiplying numbers and come up with bigger numbers. Then again you start dividing them, which will also take a lot of time. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to take time to multiply before you come up with a bigger number. Okay, so you can say 11 into 77, it will go 7 times. Okay, it will go 7 times. Then what we do now, excuse me, what we remain with 7 centimeter squared times 28. Okay, so what we can do is we can find the product of 7 times 28. So I'm going to use the smaller space which is here, which I'm going to write 28 times 7 here. Okay, I hope you can see where I'm multiplying using brown ink. Then what I'll do is I'm going to multiply 7 times 8. 7 times 8 will give me 56. So I'm going to write 6 here, carry 5. Then 7 times 2 will give me 14, plus 5 will be 19. So I'm going to have that 196. So which I can say r squared is equal to 196. Now to find the value of r, the value of the radius r, so I'm going to square root those two terms. Okay, that means the square root of r squared is r, which is equal to, then for the sake of things being clear, I'm going to use the different color there to write the final answer. So now we have r there. Now what is the square root of 196? So the square root of 196, let's think about, I'm sure the common one is in 10, sorry, it's 12, because we have seen multiplication tables that end up to 12 for a long period of time. So when we multiply 12 by 12 will give us 144. So now if that is 144, that means 12 is not the square root of 196. Now let's try 13. Okay, so let me try 13 here. So we say 13 times 13. Okay, hope you are able to see why I'm calculating. So 3 times 3 will give us 9. 3 times 1 will give us 3. Then we put 0 here. Then we say 1 times 3 will give us 3. 1 times 1 will give us 1. That one, 9 plus that will give us 9. Then 6, then 1. That one will give us 169. So 13 is the square root of 169. Okay, now let's try 14. I'm going to use the right side of the screen where I'm going to write 14 times 14. Okay, so 4 times 4 will give us 16. Curly 1. So 4 times 1 will give us 4 plus 1, 5. So it's going to be 56. 1 times, remember I'm multiplying, 1 times 4, so I'm going to put 0 here. 1 times 4 will give me 4. 1 times 1 will give me 1. Then when I add that, I'm going to have 6 plus 0. Remember I'm adding. 6 plus 0 will give me 6. 5 plus 4 will give me 9. 0 plus 1 will give me 1. So that is 196. Now 196, this is the number of quarter. So the square root of 196, the square root of 196 is 14. Okay, so that means our answer is going to be 14 here, which is 14 centimeters. So when we come to record the answer, we're going to say radius is equal to 14 centimeters. Okay, 14 centimeters. So if you have got questions, you can ask in the comment section. I know I've been all over the screen and I've tried to go into details, explaining it bit by bit and go into simpler terms. It's because I want you to understand. So if you have got questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. Basically, this is how you go about it. We come to question 11, which is as follows. The diagram shows the positions of 3 towns A, B, and C on the Earth's surface. Okay, on the Earth's surface. Okay, so you can take time and study the diagram. So once you have studied the diagram, then we can go ahead and answer the questions. So question 11A is as follows. What is the time difference between B and C? Okay, so to solve this one, what we're going to do is we're going to say, I'm going to abbreviate time difference, which is TD. Time difference is equal to, okay, that is theta over 15 degrees. Okay, we can even say over 15. It's okay. So let me just write properly my 15. Okay, over 15. Okay, so what is theta? Theta is the distance, or the difference in longitude. That is, theta is the difference in longitude. Now let's go to the diagram and find the difference in longitude. Okay, now since we are looking at town A and C. Okay, so town C is sitting on the longitude, which is 50 degrees north, and town B is sitting on the longitude, which is 40 degrees west. So since this one it is in the west and this one it is in the east, So what we're going to do is we're going to add these two numbers. So that means when we go on theta, we are going to say 40, okay, degrees. So 40 degrees is where town B is sitting, and 65 degrees is where town C is sitting. So we're going to say 40 degrees plus 65 degrees, and the sum of that divided by 15, okay, which is equal to. So what we're going to do now is we're going to find 40 plus 65 will give us 105 degrees, which is over 15. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to say equal to, then want to find time difference. So whatever we're going to get, remember, every 15 degrees makes 1 hour. Every 15 degrees makes 1 hour. So when we divide 105 by 15, the answer we're going to get will be the number of hours. Okay, so we say 15 into 105 to give us 7. 15 into 105 will give us 7. So 7 will be 7 hours. Okay, to be 7. Now let's go and record our answer on A. So you need to be recording your answers on the spaces that are provided. So here we're going to say answer is 7 hours. Okay, if you have got questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section, but basically that's how you find the answer. Okay, let's go to question B, which is a plane flying due south from A to B at 900 knots takes 7 hours. Find the difference in latitude between A and B. Between A and B. So to find the answer for B, for us to find the answer for B, what we're going to do is this. First, we're going to say, so for B, first we're going to find the distance. Okay, we are given, the question is as follows: a plane flying due south from A to B at 9 knots takes 7 hours. Find the difference in latitude between A and B. So when the speed is in knots, that means the distance was in nautical miles. The distance was in nautical miles and time was in hours. So what we're going to do first, we're going to find the distance. So we can say distance, sorry, I'm writing speed instead of distance. So we are saying distance is equal to speed times time. Okay, so what is the distance? So when we calculate speed times time, so we want to find the distance. So speed, we are told, is 900 knots. So 900 knots times 7 hours. So time is 7 hours. Remember, this T is for time, 7 hours. So when we multiply 9 times 7, so let's ignore the zeros first. Let's just focus on 9 and 7. So 7 times 9 will give me 63. Okay, so I ignored 2 zeros. So these 2 zeros, I'll put them to this product. So the answer will be 6,300. So now, like I said earlier on, when speed is in nautical, is in knots, the distance was in nautical hours. Okay, so that is the distance. Now, what we want to find is, we want to find the difference in latitude between A and B. Okay, so it's more or less like want to find the theta. So what are we going to do to find the theta? So what we're going to do is we're going to say distance is equal to 60 theta. Okay, now what is distance? We found that distance is equal to 63 thousandths, which is equal to, remember, this is 60 theta, so we're going to say 60 theta. Okay, that is 60 theta. So what we do is we divide both sides by 60, so that we remain with theta on one side of the equal sign. So here again we divide by 60. So this 60 and this 60 will cancel each other out, leaving us with only theta this side. Okay, now once we've remained with theta like that, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to divide the numbers that are on the left. That means this 0 and this 0 cancel each other out. Then we say 6 into 6, it will go one time. Okay, then we say without any remainder. Okay, so what we're going to do is now, or let's just say, if I go like that, it will confuse you. Let me say 6 into 600, it will go 100 times. 6 into 30, it will go 5 times. So 6 into 630, it will go 105 times. So that is the value of theta. So that is, we can say, the distance in longitude, the difference in latitude is 105. So to record our answer here, and come here and say theta is equal to 105 degrees. 105 degrees. Okay, so basically that's how you write your answer. Okay, if you have got questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. But basically that's how you find the correct answer. Okay, we come to question 12. Question 12 is as follows. Question 12a. If a machine that loads meal into 25 kg bags has a tolerance of 0.5%, find the highest acceptable mass of any bag loaded by this machine. Okay. Excuse me. So what you need to do is, let me write the letter A here for question 12a. So this is question 12a. Then the question is, we want to find the highest acceptable mass of the bag loaded by this machine, which has got a tolerance of 0.5%. So to find the highest acceptable mass, what we're going to do is we're going to come up with this expression, which is 25. Okay, 25 kg plus open bracket 0.5%. So instead of writing percent, what I'm going to write is, I'm going to write 0.5 over 100 times 25 kg. Okay, so on the right side of the expression, after plus, we want to find the tolerance, then we add it to the 25 kg. So what we're going to do is we're going to say 25 kg, then plus, so we work out that one. So that means 100, 25 into 100, it will go 4 times. 25 into 25, it will go 1 time. Okay, so the key thing here is we are dividing 25 by 25 and 100 by 25, so giving us that. So we have 0.5 times 1 kg give us 0.5 kg over 4. Okay, so now here what we do is we divide 0.5 by 4. So what you can do is we can make 0.5 to be whole number, so we multiply both numbers by 10. Multiply both numbers by 10. So 0.5 times 10 over 4 times 10, which will give us, okay, when we multiply this, will give us 5 over 40. Okay, so we say 5 into 40, it can't, so we write 0. Then we add 0 to 5 and put a decimal point there. Okay, so we have a decimal point there. Then we say 40 into 50 to go 1 time, remainder 10. Okay, remainder 10. Then we say 40 into 100, 40 into 10, it will go, it can't. 40 into 10, it can't, so what we do, we add 0 here. Then we say 40 into 100, it will go 40 into 100, it will go 2 times, remainder 20. So 2 times remainder 20. 40 into 20, it can't, so we put 0 to 20, it becomes 200. 40 into 200, it will go 5 times. Now 0.125 is the tolerance, so that means we're going to have 25. We're going to have 25 kg. Remember, even it's kg plus that, which is 0.125, okay, kg. Okay, so what we do is we combine that. We combine 25 plus 0.125. So we say 25 kg plus 0.125. Okay, so we're going to say plus then 0.000. Then we have 0 plus 5 will give us 5. 0 plus 2 will give us 2. 0 plus 1 will give us 1 point. Then 5 plus 0 give us 5. Then 2 plus 0 give us 2. So the answer is 25.125 kg. Okay, this is kg. So we go where we're supposed to record the answer and record the answer, which is going to be 25.125 kg. Okay, thank you, God. Okay, we are there. All right, so please make sure, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you found this video helpful, remember to like and share with your friends. Please encourage all your friends to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that we can grow in number and revise together. When we are many, things are better because we share ideas. So we have a lot of brains. It means it will be great things that will come out from that place. Okay, now let's go to the second question, 12b, which is if 12.5 liters of water was poured out of a container containing 20 liters of water, find the relative area of the volume of water that remained in the container. Okay, so we are told there is 20 liters of water. There is 20 liters of water in the container and 12.5 was left. We need to find the relative area of the volume of water that remained in the container. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to come up with a formula, which is relative area is equal to absolute area divided by true value. Okay, true value. I don't know if it's visible so much. So we are saying absolute area divided by true value. Okay, so what is the absolute area? We don't know, so let's find the absolute area. So what we're going to do is we're going to say absolute area is equal to since we have this number, which is 7.5, that means our absolute area will be 0.1, because our answer is the difference of the water that is remaining. Now, how did I come up with the 7.5? Let me go to the statement. Okay, the statement is there. So we are told we find the relative area of the remaining water. So if 12.5 was removed from the container, so I've got 20 minus 12.5. Okay, so here it will be 0.0. So what we do is we do like this. We subtract what is the amount of water remaining in the container. So we say 0 minus 5, it can't. So we borrow 1 from 2. It comes here, it becomes 10. So we borrow 1, it remains 9. And then here it becomes 10. So here we have 5. Okay, then we say 9 minus 2 give us 7. Then here we borrowed 1, we remained with 1. 1 minus 1 to be 0, so no need of even writing 0 there. So the what is remaining is 7.5. So the absolute error, since we have got 7.5, the absolute error will be 0.1. Be 0.1. Now, once we have written that, the next thing we're going to do is we divide that by 2. We divide that by 2. Okay, so when we're dividing that, we say what we do is we multiply by 10. Okay, and this side by 10. So that means we're going to have something like 1 over 20. So we say 1 into 20 into 1, it can't, so we write is 0. Okay, then we add 0 to 1, it becomes, we also add the point there. Then we say 20 into 10, it can't, so we're going to say is going to add 0 and we write 0. Okay, then we say 20 into 100, it will go 5 times without any remainder. So this is absolute error. Okay, that is the absolute error. So what we do is we come here, then where there is absolute error, we're going to put 0.05. Okay, 0.05 divide by, then we look at the true value. The true value is the one we got here. The true value is the one I've circled there in green, which is 7.5. So what we're going to do is we're going to write 7.5. Okay, so we divide the absolute error by true value. So you can see we have got decimal numbers there. So how do we get to divide? So we multiply these numbers by 100. Why 100? Because the number on top here has got 2 decimal places, so I want to make it a whole number. So that means to make it a whole number, I'm going to multiply it by 100 and here by 100. Now when I multiply by 100, because it has got 2 zeros here, that means the decimal point will move 2 steps. Okay, so when we say 0.05 times 100 will give us 5. 7.5 times 100 will give us 750. Okay, then what do we do? What we're going to do is we're going to do this. 5 divided by 750, or 750 into 5, or better still, we can say what number can go into 5 and 750. The number that can go into 5 and 750 is 5 itself. So 5 into 5, so we divide both numbers by 5. Okay, and this one by 5. Okay, so 5 divided by 5 will give us 1. Then 5 into 7 to go 1 time, remainder 2. So that means here we have 2. Then it will be 25. 5 into 25, it will go 5 times. Then have we used 0? No. 5 into 25, it will go 5 times without any remainder, and we haven't used 0. That means we'll write it to the quotient. Therefore, the answer will be 1 over 150. So now we can go and record our answer to say relative error is equal to, so I can say relative error is equal to 1 over 750. Okay, please, I'm trying to be very slow and clear, and we're also going in details to make sure that you fully understand. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. Otherwise, this is how you go about this question. So the relative error is equal to 1 over 150. Let's hope this is not 700. This is 150. This is 100. So you need to be very careful as you record your answers. Make sure if it's 150, make sure it is written clearly. Okay, if you have got questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. But I want also to encourage you to join our WhatsApp group where we are doing massive revision. The link is in the description box, so make sure you join us so that we continue revising with you even on WhatsApp. Okay, we come to question 13, which is as follows. In the following diagram, A, B, C, D and E are points on the circumference of a circle, center O. Okay, angle ADB is equal to 18 degrees and angle EAD is equal to 31 degrees and BC is equal to CD. Okay, so we can take time and start the diagram. Okay, now once we have studied the diagram, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go and answer the actual question, which is find A angle AOD. Okay, so which one angle is angle AOD? So let's identify angle AOD. So EAOD, not AOD, but EOD. This is the angle. Okay, this is the angle. That means we need to find this angle here. Okay, so what property are we going to use to find that angle? Okay, so when we look at this angle, we can see that it is forming a triangle, and this triangle is the base of this triangle is on the chord, which is ED there. Okay, now this chord here, when you look at this line, you'll find that it has got angles. You can see the other angle that is formed, that is in the circumference there. Okay, so this angle we want to find is on the center. Okay, so we want to find the angle at the center. So what property are we going to use? So the property we're going to use is angles at the center, or the angle at the center is twice bigger than the angle in the circumference or at the circumference. So that means the angle EAD is twice smaller than the angle EOD. Okay, so what we're going to do is now we're going to find the angle at the center. Now remember, the property I've said is that angles that subtend on the same chord, okay, the angle that is formed in the circumference or at the circumference is twice smaller than the angle at the center when they emerge from the same chord, like the way it is there. Okay, so what you can do now is we can come up with an expression. Okay, so what we can do is, since we know the angle EAX, okay, if it's EAD, we know the angle EAD, which is 31. So you can say to find the value of angle AOD, so we can say angle EOD, the angle EOD is equal to 2, then angle that is angle EAD. Okay, so that one. So angle EOD is twice bigger than angle EAD. So what you can do now here, you can just say 2, then open bracket. What is the value of angle EAD? Is 31 degrees. So you can say 31 degrees there. Then what you can do now, we just multiply 2 times 31, give us 2 times 1 will give us 2, 2 times 3 will give us 6. So that is 62 degrees. Okay, so what we can do now, we can go where we are supposed to record the answer here and say angle, that is angle EOD. So we can say angle EOD, angle EOD is equal to 62 degrees. Okay, excuse me. Okay, then we come to question B, which is find angle ADE, angle ADE. Okay, so let me just lab these drawings I've made when I was solving for question A. Let me lab those. Now once I've labbed those, now let's study that. I'm not going to lab this, I'll leave it here. Even when you do this kind of calculation, you get the marks, or even when you just state the property, then you can get the marks. But this also demonstrates the same property I talked about. Okay, then we come to B, which is ADC angle. We find the angle ADC. So let's find which angle is angle ADC. Okay, so let's go on the diagram and identify that angle. So angle ADC. So angle, so we start from A is here, then we say ADC. So we want to find this entire angle. Now we know that, let me just see, we know that 18 is already given, part of this angle is already given. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to find these two angles. Now remember, what we have here, we have got this line here. I'm sure, let me just lab this part so that we can understand that this is we want to find this angle. Let me just show, we want to find this angle. Okay, so we can see that we have got here, we have got isosceles triangle. As you can see, these two lines are equal by these symbols. We are told that these lines are equal in length, so that is isosceles triangle. So what we can do is, now for us to find the value of that, we can first find the value of this angle, then the remaining we divide it by 2. So we should also know that this line is passing on the center. Okay, so the angle that is formed on a semicircle is 90 degrees. Okay, so that means this angle here is 90 degrees. This angle is 90 degrees. Okay, so if this is 90 degrees, let me just write the word 90 degrees, then the number 90 degrees. So if this angle is equal to 90 degrees, okay, 90 degrees, so what is the value of angle CDB or BDC? What is the value of angle CDB there? Okay, so to find that, what we're going to do is we're going to say 180 degrees, that is the total sum of interior angles of a triangle, minus 90 degrees, then divide by 2. Remember, I'm trying to find the value of angle let me say BDC. Okay, that's the angle I want to find. Then what will be the value? So when we subtract that, 180 minus 90 will give me 90, divide by 2, then 2 into 90 will give me 45 degrees. So the value of that angle there is 45 degrees. Okay, the value of this angle here is 45 degrees. So I'm going to write 45 degrees here. Okay, that is the value. Okay, now once we have found the value of 45 degrees, remember the angle we want to find has got two angles there. So which means what we do is we add 45 plus 18. So what we're going to do is we're going to say angle ADC, angle ADC is equal to 45 degrees plus 18 degrees. Okay, so which should give us 63 degrees. Okay, which should give us 63 degrees. So the correct answer there, we can even record it here. So we can say angle ADC is equal to 45 degrees. Okay, now once we have found that, we can go ahead and give the answers. Okay, now the other thing we can do is, now we go and find the third question, which is we find angle EXD. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to read what I drew on the diagrams. Okay, please, if you are confused anywhere, if you have got questions, I'm here to give explanations. Okay, please. So I'm trying to go also into details, into simple calculations, so that I can show you more on how you can do the calculations. Okay, we come to question C, which is find the angle EXD, which I've also shown you there. That is the angle XED. So for us to find angle XED, what weakness are we going to look at? Okay, first of all, let's see talk about this triangle. Okay, we have got the triangle OXD. Okay, that angle, that triangle which is in. Let me show you the angle, the triangle I'm talking about. This triangle. Okay, so when you look at this triangle, we found this angle to be 62 degrees. This is the first angle we found, which is 62 degrees, which is double of the angle on the circumference. Okay, so the angle on the center is double of the angle on the circumference. So we found it to be what? We found it to be 62. Let me first draw this. Let me magnify it here. So we have got D here, then we have got X, then we have got O. Then we found this angle to be 62 degrees. So we found this angle to be 62 degrees, and this angle, as you can see, is 18 degrees. Okay, so what we asked is to find, if we can find this angle in this on this diagram. Let me show it with a blue marker here. We need to find this angle here. Once we find this angle, then we can find the angle that is on X inside there, which is by using the property which is angles on the straight line. So it's more or less like this line is extended. So this line is extended, and then we have got also another angle. Okay, but also another angle. Okay, now once we have done that, what we're going to do is now we're going to find that value once we find this angle. So what you can do is you can use the property which is angles in the sum of interior angles of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. That means we can say 18 degrees plus 62 degrees plus X, the angle we don't know, is equal to 180 degrees. So what we have there, we have 18 plus 62 will give us 80 degrees plus X is equal to 180 degrees. Then what we do is we put like terms together. Then we have X is equal to 180 degrees minus 80 degrees will give us X is equal to, that will give us 100 degrees. So the value of this angle here is 100 degrees. Okay, so now what we need to do is we understand there the triangle is too small, I can't write. That is the neighboring angle to the question, to the angle that we asked, equal to 100 degrees. Now how do we find the value of the next angle? So what we do is, I'm just going to write here below that. Now once we found that angle, so for us to find the value of angle, EXD, let's go down and let me show you how we can find. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use the property which is angles on the straight line. Okay, angles on a straight line add up to 180. So angles on this straight line will add up to 180 degrees. So let's go down and then let's find that. So we can say this angle, we are saying that angle, that is angle OXD. So we can say, or we can say angle DXO plus, then we also have that angle which is DXE. So plus DXE plus angle DXE. Okay, these are two angles that are formed on a straight line are equal to 180 degrees. Now we found that angle DXO is equal to 100. DXO is equal to 100. So we're going to say 100 plus 100 degrees plus DXE. Angle DXE is equal to 180 degrees. Then we find the difference. So we put like terms together. We're going to have DXE. Angle DXE is equal to 180 degrees minus this 100 degrees. Okay, so this will give us angle DXE is equal to 180 degrees minus 180 degrees minus 100 will give us 180 degrees minus 100 will give us 80 degrees. So the value of angle DXE is equal to 100. So we can even write here, we can say DXE is equal to angle DXE is equal to 80 degrees. Okay, so that is the answer we can write there. Angle there it is called EXD. Sorry, I've just interchanged the name, so the name should be the way it is. So here I'm just going to lab E and T and then write angle EXD is equal to 80 degrees. Please never mind about the way I've named these angles. It's just the same as there. Okay, so you can see that C is on the center and these D and E have swapped them, but it should be EXD. Okay, so that is the name of the angle there. Okay, so basically that's how you find the answers to these questions. If you have good questions, please you can ask in the comment section. I'll be glad to respond to you. Anywhere where you're not clear, ask me. I'll be glad to respond to you and shed more light on the steps and answers. Okay, so if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you find this video helpful, remember to like and share with your friends. Okay, we come to question 14. We got straight to 14a, which is in the diagram. AB is equal to 8 cm, AD is equal to 10 cm, DC is equal to 12 cm, and angle ABC is equal to 90 degrees. Okay, so the actual question is down here. So what you need to do is first to study the diagram. After you study the diagram, then you can go to the actual question. Okay, so you can also note that what is in the diagram is the one that is illustrated in the statement A. Okay, now after we study the diagram, we can go to question, the actual question, which is find the value of tan angle ACB. Okay, tan angle ACB. Okay, so what is the value of tan ACB? Okay, so what you can do is find the value of, so to find the value of tan ACB, what we're going to do is we're going to come up with a formula which is tan ACB, okay, which is equal to, so when you are using tan A, so what we can do is I can remind you of something. I hope you remember of Sokatoa. Okay, so we're going to use this one, which is tan is equal to opposite over adjacent. So that's the formula we're going to come up with. So on top we are going to have opposite over adjacent. So we are going to come up with something like this. Okay, so for us to find the opposite and adjacent, first we need to identify the angle in question. So we know that the angle in question, which is ACB, that means this is the angle. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to use the adjacent. First, let's look at the opposite. So the opposite of this angle is this one. So the opposite is 8 centimeter. So where there is opposite, we say equal to, where there is opposite, we write 8 centimeter over adjacent. Now adjacent to this angle is the length BC, the length BC. So the adjacent to this angle is this side, which is BC. Okay, now how much is BC? Now we can see that BC, we have the partial measurement, how part of the measurement is given, which is 12 centimeter, but we don't know this measurement, which we can call x. So we need to find the value of x. So to find the value of x, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this triangle. Okay, it's a right triangle. Okay, so that's the one I'm going to use. So to find the length of x. So to do that, what we're going to do is I'm going to use the Pythagoras theorem. So I'm going to use Pythagoras theorem to find the value of x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this is hypotenuse, 10 centimeters is hypotenuse. So I'm going to say AD squared is equal to, so AB squared plus BD squared. Okay, I hope you are following me. So AD squared is equal to AB, this is B, please, not D, but B, AB squared plus BD squared. Okay, so what is AD? AD we have 10. So I'm going to ignore the units maybe because of space. So I'm going to have 10 squared there. Then AB, that is 8. So I'm going to have 8 squared there plus. Then what is the BD? BD we are not given. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call BD as x. So that's the value we have given to it is x. So that is x squared. Okay, so what we can do now is we can say what is 10 squared? 10 squared is equal to 100. Let me just come here. It's equal to 100, which is equal to 8 squared, that is 64. 8 times 8 will give us 64. Then plus x squared. Okay, we need to find the value of x. So what we can do is we put like terms together. So we have got 100. Then 64 will close the cosine and become minus 100 minus 64 is equal to x. Then we find the difference. 100 minus 64 will give us 36, which is equal to x. Okay, then what we do, this is x squared, please, this should be x squared. Then what we do to find the value of x, we square root all the sides. Okay, so the square root of 36 is 6. The square root of x squared is x. So the value of x there is 6. So here where there is x, the value we have is 6. So what I can do is there now I can write 6 centimeter. Okay, that means 6 centimeter plus 12 centimeter. Now we want to find the length, the size of the length. So we say 12 centimeter plus 6 centimeter will give us 18 centimeter. So there down we write 18 centimeter. Okay, so what you can do now here, you can now try to find a number that can go into 8 and 18. That is 2. 2 can go in 8 and 18. So we have 2 into 8 will give us 4. 2 into 18 give us 9. And this is the answer. This is the final answer. So we go where we are supposed to record the answer and write the answer as 4 over, write properly, because the recording of the answer is as important as finding the answer. So please make sure you write properly your answer. Okay, so 4 over 9. Okay, if you have got questions, you can ask in the comment section, but basically that's how we go about it. 14b, which is as follows. In the diagram, AB is perpendicular to CD. Okay, so what you need also to bear in mind is that is the statement itself, which is saying perpendicular, which is this word. This is the keyword in this expression. This one here, it's a keyword. Okay, so you need to understand, okay, what a perpendicular line is. Okay, now once you have understood, then we can go ahead and start the diagram. So this is the diagram. We can see D on that point, which is 6, 0, and CD on 0, on 4, 0. Okay, so let me also write the coordinates for these points which are given, which is this one is 6. Let me write properly, which is we have got the coordinate there, which is open bracket 6, 0, and this one is 0, 4. Okay, those are the coordinates there. Okay, now the actual question down here is find the equation of line AB. So we need to find the coordinate for the line AB, which is this one here. Okay, so the coordinate for that line, which is perpendicular to CD, what is the coordinate? So what we can do is now we can go ahead and find the coordinate. Okay, so we can say how do we find the coordinates? First of all, I need to share with you that we usually use the flame when you're finding the equation. We usually use the flame which is y is equal to mx plus c, where c is the constant. Okay, so you need to understand that. So what we need to do here first is now we need to find the gradient. Okay, so the gradient that will work for this line CD, we need to find the gradient for the line CD. Okay, so we can say gradient of the line CD. We want to find the equation for the line CD. Okay, so we want to find the equation for the line CD, so we're going to find the gradient. So we usually use the formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, then we're going to say equal to, so what is xy? So let's take D as the x1, the point D as a first point, which is x1 and y1. Okay, then C as x2 and y2. Okay, so we can see that y2 is 4 minus y1 is 0, then over x2 we have found to be 0 there on top, then x1 is 6, so minus 6. Okay, then when we evaluate that, we're going to get 4 over negative 6. Okay, so when we divide that, we're going to come up with the, when we simplify that in its lowest term or express that into lowest term, it's going to be 2. A number that can go into 4 and negative 6 is 2. So 2 into 4, it will go 2 times. So remember, we should put a negative sign over 2 into 6, it will give us 3. So the gradient is negative 3. So we can come here where we have written the frame for the equation, where we have y, then where there is a gradient which is m, we are going to put negative 2 over, so let me write properly because there my writing is not okay, negative 2 over 3 x plus c. Okay, now the main interest to use in the equation CD, or the main interest to use the main interest we have in the equation for C, for the line CD, we have attained it, which is a gradient. Okay, now let me talk about the gradient and the relationship, the gradient of two lines which are perpendicular to each other. What is the relationship? So we can understand that the gradient of the line 1 times the gradient, okay, the gradient of the line 2 is equal to negative 1. Okay, that is the relationship. You should understand that's a relationship. So in other words, what we are saying is what we can do is, what we should understand is that the gradient of the line CD, if the gradient of the line CD is a positive, is a negative, like we have gotten a negative, that means the gradient of the line AB will be a positive. Okay, will be a positive. okay, and it should be the inverse of that line or of that gradient. Okay, when I say multiplication inverse, I mean when you multiply it, it should give you 1. Okay, so now we have got negative 2 over 3, which is the negative. So meaning the gradient, the gradient of the line AB will be a positive. And then what we do, we flip the fraction. Okay, so this one is 2 over 3. Then the gradient for the line AB will be 3 over 2. Now, once we have gotten the gradient using that line, that's the business is over. Now we can go ahead and find the equation, because the question is find the equation of line AB. So to find the equation, again, I'm going to come up with a frame of the equation that we use starting from grade 9. Okay, it's very important that you remain basic as you solve the equations. Don't be so don't use maybe don't try to show off by using advanced methods and other things, but try to be basic. So that's what I'm trying to be. This is the flame I've been using from grade 9. Okay, so now once I've done this, what you can do now is we just replace in this equation, we just replace the gradient. So we have the gradient, which is y is equal to 3 over 2x plus c. Now here, what we are remaining with now is to find the value of c. So how do we find the value of c? So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to use the same expression, y is equal to 2 over 3x plus c. So I'm going to write it here. So which is y is equal to 3 over 2x plus c. Remember, I want to find the constant. So what am I going to do now to find the constant? I'll come on this point where there is 1. So I'm going to come at this point, then record the coordinate. So the coordinate there is 1, 0. Okay, so the value of y is 0 and the value of x is 1. So I'll place these numbers in that equation, which is y is equal to 0 is equal to 3 over 2, x is equal to 1. So I'm going to multiply the whole of that fraction by 1 plus c, the constant. So what I'm going to have is 0 is equal to 3 over 2 times 1 will give me 3 over 2 plus c. Now I'll put like terms together. That means I'm going to have 0, then 3 over 2 close to the equal sign and become minus 3 over 2, then is equal to c. Now when I evaluate this, I'm going to remain with negative 3 over 2. I'm going to remain with negative I'm going to remain with negative 3 over 2, which is equal to c. Now I'm going to replace the value of negative in that equation. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to come here on the equation I'm making, which is y is equal to, then I'm going to write 3 over 2x plus, then what is the value of x I got is negative 3, 2. Okay, that's a value I got. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue, write y is equal to, then 3 over 2x, then I'm going to multiply positive times negative 3 over 2 will give me negative 3 over 2. So now this is the equation for the line AB. This is the equation for the line AB. Now, in case I'm too fast or I've confused you, please take time and ask the question in the comment section. I'll be glad to respond to you. So basically, this is how you go about it. So what you can do is you can come to the answers part and record your answer, which is y is equal to 3 over 2x minus 3 over 2. Okay, so that is over. So that is the equation for the line AB. If you have got questions, please you can ask in the comment section, but basically that's how we go about this question. Thank you so much for watching, and please continue watching up to the end as I'm going to go through all the questions in this paper. we come to question 15. Question 15 is as follows. It is given that x is equal to kz over y2, where k is the constant of variation. The table shows some corresponding values of x, y, and z. Okay, so we can take time and study the diagram. So we study the table. So after we study the table, we can go to the actual question, which is use the information given in the table to find the a value of k, which is a constant. Okay, so how do we find the value of k? So already we are given the formula that connects the three items, which is x, y, and z. So the formula is x is equal to kz over, this is z, not 2, over y2. Okay, so what you can do is first we can look at the table and identify the column that has all details given, and you can see that this first column has all the details given, which is the value of x, the value of y, and the value of z. So what you can do is now we just replace the values, the letters by their values. So we have got what is the value of x? That is 24. So we write 24, okay, is equal to, then the value of k is what we want to find, so z, so I'm going to write k. Then we have the value of z, which is 16, over the value of y. Y is 2, the value of y is 2, so we have 2 is the power. So the value of y is 2, yes. So we have that. Okay, so what you can do is we just evaluate. So what you can say is 24 is equal to 16k. Okay, 16k. Okay, then over 2 by 2, that is more or less like we have 2 times 2 there. Okay, 2 squared is more or less like we have 2 times 2, which will give us 4. Okay, now once we have found that, then the next thing what we can do is we just do cross multiplication. So it's more or less like 24 over 1, then cross multiply, which is going to be 16k times 1 give us 16k1, 16k1. Okay, 16k1, which is equal to, then we say 24 times 4. So what we can do is, before, since we are not going to be using calculator, so we're going to say 16 times 24 times 4. We just write it like that. Okay, so what we can do now is we divide both sides by 16. Why? We want to remain with the k on one side of the equal sign. Okay, that means the 16 down and the 16 on top will cancel each other, leaving us with the k, which is equal to, then we say what number can go into 16 and 4? That is 4 itself. So 4 into 16, it will be 4. Then 4 into 4, it will be 1. Then, is there any number that can go into 24 and 4? Yes, 4 itself. 4 into 4, it's 1. 4 into 24, it will go 6 times. Okay, so we say 4 into 6, it will go 6. Then we have times 1. Where there was 4. So when we say k is equal to 6 times 1, we give us 6, and this is the constant, or this is the value of k. So what I can do now, I can just record that here. You can say k is equal to 6. Okay, that is the constant. Okay. Okay, now we come to B. This was A, so we come to B. So B, they want us to find the value of B. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the same relationship that is given in the question. So that is the same relationship we're going to use, and this is the relationship that is here. Okay, so we're going to say we're going to say x is equal to k z over y2. So what we'll do is, what is the value of x? So we go on the details given. We have got what is the value of x. X, we are told the value is p, so where there is x we put p, which is equal to, then the value of k, we found the value of k, which is the constant, we found it to be 6, so we say k, we put 6 where there is k. Then the value of z is given in that, so when you come to the table, the value of z is here, it is in 6 here. Okay, so we say multiplied by 6, that's the value of z, over the value of y is 3, as you can see, so we say 3 squared. Okay, so we want to find the value of p. So what we do is, now we say p is equal to 6 times 6 will give us 36. Then here it's more or less like 3 squared is 3 times 3, so 3 times 3 will give us 9. Okay, so we say equal to, then we have p, so 9 into 36, it will go 4 times. Okay, so the value of 9 is 4. The value of 9 is, the value of p, not the value of 9, the value of p is 9. So I'm going to say p is equal to 4. Okay, we come to question C, which is to find the value of Q. So where is Q? Q is here. So we want to find the value of Q. So that is the value of Y. So what do? We're going to use the same relationship that is given in the statement, which is x is equal to kz over y squared. So what is the value of x in that? We are given is 12, so we say 12. Okay, so the value of x is 12, as you can see here. Then is equal to the value of k, which is a constant, we found it to be 6. Then what is the value of z? That is 18, so 6 times 18. Then what is the value of y? We are given is q, so we have q squared there. Okay, that is q squared. Okay, so what we do is, now we evaluate, we say 12. Okay, 12 we have 12 is equal to, then 16, 6 times 18, 6 times 18, what are we going to get? So let me just multiply here on top. We have 18 times 6. Okay, so we say 6 times 8 will give us 48. Then we have 6 times 6, that is 6 times 6 will give us 6 times 1, not 6 times 6. 6 times 1 will give us 6 plus 4 to be 108. So we have 108 over q squared. Okay, so what we do is we do cross multiply. Okay, so what we're going to have, we're going to have 12 q squared is equal to 108. So what we do, we want to remain with the q on one side of the equal sign. So first we divide both sides by 12 and this side by 12. Okay, so 12 here will cancel each other. Okay, leaving us with the q squared, which is equal to 12 into 108, it will go 9 times. Okay, now at this stage, what we're going to do is we are going to square root both sides so that we can just find the value of q. So the square root of q squared is q, which is now the square root of q squared is q, which is equal to the square root of 9 is 3. So therefore the value of q will be 3. Okay, so it can be positive or negative q. Let me also state that fact. Okay, so it's not only 3, it can also be positive or minus 3. Okay, positive or negative 3. So my answer is some recording, it will be positive 3 or negative 3. Okay, that is the value of q, positive or negative. Okay, so if you have got questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section, and please remember to join our WhatsApp group where we're going to be revising extensively. We come to question 16, which is as follows. Find the integral of 3x raised to the power of 3 plus 4x dx. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to integrate that expression. So I'm going to write 3x raised to the power of 3 plus 4x dx. Now these should be in brackets like that. So what I'm going to do is now let me start integrating. So I've got 3x raised to the power of 3 plus 1, okay, over 3 plus 1, then plus 4x. Now 4x is raised to the power of 1, so plus 1, okay, over 1 plus 1 plus c. Okay, now once I've done that, the next thing I'm going to do is now just to evaluate that. So I've got 3x, 3 plus 1 give me 4, so 3x raised to the power of 4 plus c. So over, before I even write plus, then I add 3 plus 1 will give me 4, then plus, then 4x, 1 plus 1 will give us 2, then over 2. Okay, then we say plus c. Okay, so what you can do now here is we evaluate. So can we divide this 3x over 4? No, so we are going to remain with 3 or 3x raised to the power of 4 over 4 plus 2 into 4, it will go 2 times, so we have 2x raised to the power of 2 okay, then we say plus c plus 3 c, sorry. Okay, so that is the final answer of that question. So what we do is we come down here and write the same answer I've gotten, which is 3 over 4x raised to the power of 4 plus 2x raised to the power of 2 plus c. Okay, so that is the answer that you record there. Okay, we come to 16b. In the diagram, excuse me, in the diagram, quadrilateral P is mapped onto Q by a single transformation S. Okay, so we can take time and look at the diagram. So we can now go to the actual question, which is describe fully the transformation S. Okay, so what you can take time and look at, okay, is let's talk about the diagram P and Q. So the diagram is sitting in the same position, and then it has been transformed. Okay, P has been transformed into Q. So what you can do is we can pick a corresponding side. So let's talk about let me mark this position, okay, and these positions are corresponding. Okay, so First of all, now since the diagrams are sitting in the same position and there's no turning and the other things, that means we can say this one is in translation. Okay, the type of transformation is translation. Okay, now let's find how have they transformed by what vector. So when you look at this one, this point I've marked, you will notice that it has moved 3 steps going to the right. So this is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is 3. So we can say definitely we can tell that the vector will have 3 over, then coming down. When you look at the shape coming down here, the same position, you look at it has moved 1, 1, 2 steps. Okay, sorry, that okay, 2 steps. Okay, so that means going down, not up. That means it's going to be -2. Okay, so that is going to be -2. So the type of transformation is translation, and the vector is 3 over -2. Unless if there are questions, but basically that's how we go about this one. So to describe fully the transformation is, we can say that is translation okay by the vector which is 3 over -2. Okay, so that is translation, and the vector is 3 over 2. Unless if there are questions. If there are no questions, basically that's how we go about this one. Okay, we come to question 17, which is as follows. The diagram shows 3 points O, P, and Q on level ground. OPQ is an equilateral triangle, and the bearing of Q from P is 135 degrees. Okay, so what we can do is we can take time and study the diagram. Now once we have studied the diagram, we can go to the actual questions, which are: find the bearing of A, P from O. Okay, let's focus on that one first. So what we need to find is the bearing of P from O. So we stand on O, then we draw a line from the north line that is on O up to we meet the line which is OP, or which is P. Now that is the bearing that we need to find. Okay, now when we look at the diagram, what we need to do is we need to also extend the line which is the north line, which is here. Okay, you extend it a bit. Now the diagram is too crowded. Let me just try to expand it a bit. Let me draw something here on the right side. I know it's not going to be a big difference, but maybe we can make it a bit bigger. Okay, so this is the diagram. So don't worry about the triangle. My triangle is not perfectly done, so let me do the triangle proper. So it's more or less like this, then okay, then draw a line like that. Now never mind about the size of the lines. What will guide us is the fact that this is equilateral triangle. That means all the sides are equal and the interior angles are also equal. Okay. Now the bearing that we need to find, so if we extend this line up to this stage, the bearing that we need to find, we know that this is up to here, this is 135 degrees. 135 degrees. So the bearing we are finding is this one. So what you can do is when two parallel lines, this is almost graduate work, when two parallel lines meet a transversal, this is the angles that are formed. This one is alternate angles, which is alternate angles are equal. Alternate angles are equal. So what it implies here, if we find the value of this angle, I'm going to name X there. Okay, that angle, that means we have also found the value of this angle. So how do we find the value of this angle? Okay, so we know that this angle is 135, but when we consider the full angles on a straight line from that up to here, this one will be 180 degrees. So for us to find this angle here, we just subtract 135 from 180. So we can say 180 degrees minus 135 degrees. So if we can find the difference of those, so that will be 45. 180 degrees minus 135 will give us 45 degrees. That is the value of that angle. That is the bearing there. Okay, so now what we come to now next is that we are told that this is equilateral triangle. That means the inner angles are equal to 60. That means when you come to the diagram that is given, we are able to tell that this is 60 degrees, okay, and this one is equal to 60 degrees, and this one is equal to, this entire angle is equal to 60 degrees. Now, since we have found this angle here, which is that angle to be 45, so the difference of 65 will be the value of this. The difference of 60 degrees and 45 will be the value of that. Okay, so we found the angle, which is the one I've marked here. Let me mark it with the brown color. The one, the arc here for that is the one we found 45. So we just subtract 45 from 60. So we can go ahead and say 60 degrees minus 45 degrees is equal to 15 degrees. So now, since we are saying alternate angles are equal, now first, before I go that far, I'm saying this angle is equal to 15 degrees. So even in this diagram where I wrote x, the value of x is equal to 15 degrees. Okay, that is 15 degrees. Sorry, I'm not writing proper. Okay, that is 15 degrees. So therefore, we said alternate angles are equal. So we can say alternate angles are equal. Okay, so meaning this angle, if it's 15 degrees, that means even the bearing in question is 15 degrees. Okay, so we can go there and write the answer. So the bearing, so what do we do? Now we're writing the bearing. So we say the bearing of P from O is 0.15 degrees. Okay, that's the bearing, is 0.15. So you can't even write, you may not even write these which I've written. P from O is, you just write this 0.15 degrees. The answer will be. Okay, so if you have got questions, but basically that's how you go about it. Okay, so now once we are done with this, let me lab what is writing here so that you can leave space for fresh drawings and writing. Okay. Okay, we come to B, which is question B is asking us to find the bearing of O from Q. So what we can do is, let me also remove these. Let me remove these as well. Okay, so what we can do is we stand on Q and then draw the line, the north line. So this is the north line. Okay, so the question is, we find the bearing from Q. So we are standing on Q, the bearing of O from Q. So this is the bearing that we need to find. So what we can do is now, what we can do is we can do this. Now, if these are two lines, so let's see, extend this also. So these, there are two parallel lines. This north line, there are two parallel lines. So that means we have two lines like this one. Okay. Then we have a transversal line like this one. Then here it is P and there it's Q. Okay. So what we should understand is we need to understand one thing. So when we say we use the property of co-interior angles, when we use the property of co-interior angles, so what we are trying to do when we use the properties of co-interior angles, we want to find the value of this angle, which is here. Okay, so if this angle is equal to 135 degrees, that means this one, we find the difference of that. That means this one is equal to 45 degrees, because co-interior angles add up to 180 degrees. So to add up to 180 degrees, that means this angle is going to be 45 degrees. Okay, the 135 plus 45 will give us 180 degrees. Co-interior angles add up to 180 degrees. Now, so that means here the value of this angle is 45 degrees. Okay, again, what we can do now here is we have got a triangle, equilateral triangle. That means this angle is equal to 60 degrees. Now remember, in equilateral triangle, the three angles are equal. That means even here you see 60 degrees. Angles are equal, so there are three angles. Then the sum of interior angles of a triangle is equal to 180. So that means each angle is equal to 60 degrees. We know that. So now, when we come to the question that we are asked, we are told to find the bearing of O from Q. So, we want to find the bearing. So, the bearing that we need to find is this bearing, the one I've indicated. So, this is the bearing I'm showing you again. Okay, so how do we find that bearing? So, there are two ways. Okay, there are two ways. The other one, we use the property which is angles on a point add up to 360 degrees. Okay, angles on a point add up to 360 degrees. So what you can do is, using that property, you can just find the sum of that. So you can say, let's call this angle, the one that is in question, let's call it x. Okay, let's call it x. Okay, so we say, now let's find the value of x. So we can say 45 degrees plus 60 degrees plus x is equal to 360 degrees. Okay, then what do? We evaluate this, which is going to give us 105 degrees plus x is equal to 360 degrees. Okay, then what do we do next? So we put like terms together. So we have x is equal to 360 degrees minus 100. Since 105 will close the cosine, so it becomes minus 105 degrees, which will give us x is equal to, so the difference of 360 and 105 degrees is 255 degrees. Okay, so that is the answer. So I can record that answer now, not yet, because I want also to show you another way you can do it. So the other one is, let's say we want to find that value. So what we're going to do first is we're going to divide the bearing which we found. So we're going to divide this bearing by using this straight line. So when we use the straight line to divide this, that means we have got this angle which is on the straight line, which is equal to 180 degrees. It's another method of finding the answer. Then what we do now here is, then we have now this angle which we can call y, which we don't know. This angle, we don't know it. Okay, so what we can do is we call it y. So now what we can do is we can say to find the value of y. To find the value of y, we can say 45 degrees plus 60 degrees plus y is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so what we do now is we evaluate this, which is 45 degrees plus 60 will give us 105 degrees plus y is equal to 180 degrees. Then we put like terms together, then we have y is equal to 180 degrees minus 105 degrees, which will give us y is equal to 75 degrees. So that is the value of y. So where we have y, we can rub y here and put the value we have found, which is 75 degrees. Okay, so what we can do is now, the next step we can take is we just add that. So we have the bearing that we found, the bearing that is in question, that is the bearing from the bearing of O from Q. So this is the entire bearing from O to Q. So it is subdivided into two angles. The other one is 180 degrees, the other one is 75 degrees. So what we do to find the value of that, we can just add 180 degrees plus 75 degrees, which should give us, when you add that, it's going to give us 255 degrees. So whichever method you use will give you the correct answer. Okay, as long as you show you're working, then there will be the correct answer. So it's either you use this method, or you can use a second one. So whichever you prefer will be. So the first one, we are using angles at a point. The second one, we are using the straight line method, the straight line angles on a straight line. Then subdivide the bearing into two parts, and then we find the answer. Okay, so the correct answer is we can say bearing. So we can say O from Q is, the bearing of O from Q is 255 degrees. That is the correct answer. So if you have got questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. Basically, this is how you go about it. Okay, we come to question 18a. Question 18a is as follows. The diagram shows a cuboid with a rectangular base and square ends. PQ is the central axis of the cuboid. So you can take time and study the diagram. Okay, now once we've studied the diagram, we can go to the actual question, which is write down the order of rotational symmetry of the cuboid about the x-axis PQ. Write down the order of rotational symmetry of the cuboid about the axis PQ. Okay, so to find the order of rotational symmetry of the cuboid about the axis PQ, we need to consider how many times the cuboid maps onto itself during a full 360 rotation around that axis. Okay, so one thing we should observe, the most important thing we should observe is that the cuboid has got square ends, meaning rotating it around the axis PQ, which runs through the center of the square faces, will produce symmetrical positions. A square has got four-fold rotational symmetry every 90 degrees, and since the cuboid square ends are identical, the entire shape will look the same after each 90 degrees turn. Okay, so that means our answer is 4. That means the cuboid has got rotational symmetry of order 4. So here the answer will be rotational symmetry of order 4. Okay, so that's how you record your answer. The rotational symmetry of order 4, that is what the symmetry. So the actual question is, write down the order of rotational symmetry of the cuboid about the axis PQ. So that means it will be 4 times. So in 4 rotation, when it turns 360 degrees, it will have similar position 4 times. Every 90 degrees, it will have a similar position. Okay, so that is the answer for that. Let's go to question 18b. Okay, we come to question 18b. Question 18b is as follows. In the answer space below is an incomplete program flowchart to calculate the area A of a triangle with base B and height H. Complete the flowchart by writing appropriate statements in the blank symbols. Okay, so let's go to the flowchart. Remember, calculating the area. So what we do here is we are going to enter here, that is where we are given the base and the height. So we're going to enter the base and the height. Then here what we enter is we are going to enter the formula, which is area is equal to 1 over 2 BH. Okay, it's okay if you say times B times H. And it's okay because even what I've written simply means that I multiply the base and the height. Okay, as well as I multiply 1 over 2 by the base by the height. So it's the same. So if you enter like this, your answer will also be correct. If you put 1 over 2 times B times H, again the answer will be correct. So it's okay if you put multiplication signs in between the letters. Okay, so basically that is the answer to this question. Please, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, come to question 19, which is the functions of f and g are defined by f of x is equal to x plus 3 over 2 and g of x is equal to 1 minus 2x. Find a, the inverse of f of x. Okay, so let's start with the a. Okay, so I'm going to use this space a, which is the inverse of f of x. Okay, so to find the inverse of f of x, what we're going to do is we're going to use the same formula that we are given. So we are given the formula, which is I'm going to write down here, which is f of x is equal to, then we have x plus 3 over 2. So what we do is, where this f of x, we write y is equal to x plus 3 over 2. So what we do is we cross multiply. So we are going to have something like this. We're going to have something like that. We have got 2y is equal to x plus 3. Okay, so now what you can do now is we are going to now we want to make x the subject of the formula. So what you can do is we can have 2y, then 3 will close the equal sign and become minus 3, which is equal to x. Okay, so at this stage what you can do is now I can just swap the position of x and y. So where there is y, I put x, where there is x, put y. So that means I'm going to have 2x minus 3 is equal to y. Now remember, the reason I'm even switching the sides is because I'm trying to find the inverse of the function that is given. Okay, so the inverse of f of x. So now like that, so what I can do, where there is y, I'm going to put the inverse. Okay, so which I can easily say, now I can say 2x minus 3 is equal to the inverse of x, inverse of f of x. Okay, like that. Now this is the answer. Now it's okay if you can swipe the sides like I'm going to do. So once I've gotten this answer, I can record it down here, which is inverse of f of x is equal to 2x minus 3. Okay, I don't know if you have followed me. Don't worry about the position of writing these numbers. You can see that the inverse of f of x is on the right side. It's okay. What I didn't want is to confuse you by moving these. So even when you find the answer like this, as you record it, you can just write like this. So this one is the same as this one. Okay. Okay, so 19b is as follows: g of f x. So we need to find g of f x. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to understand what is happening here. So f of x, this entire expression is going to replace the variable x in the expression like that. Okay, so what we can do is we can go ahead and start working out. So we have got g. So let me just write b here. So we have let me write properly. Okay, so we have b here, which is g of f x is equal to, so we have 1 minus 2. Now when we want to write x, we are going to write that variable. So we're going to say open bracket, then we say x plus 3 over 2, then cross bracket. Okay, so what you can do is we just, before we multiply, we can just say what number can go into these 2 and this 2 is 2 itself. So we can say 2 into 2, 1, 2 into negative 2, it's negative 1. So we can write what we are remaining with. We are remaining with it, we say equal to, then we say 1 minus negative 1 open bracket x plus 3. Okay, x plus 3. So we said this one into that negative 1, it will give us negative 1. So like that. Then what we do is we expand what is in the bracket. So we have 1, negative 1 times x will give us negative x. Then negative 1 times 3 give me negative 3. Okay, so what we can do now is we put like terms together. So we're going to have negative x minus 3, then positive 1 will close the equal sign, plus 1. So we'll go to the other side, not close the equal sign, because there are no sign that it is crossing. We maintain it to be positive, so it will go through the side of 3. We're putting like terms together, so that we can have negative x, then 3, negative 3 plus 1. So 3 is bigger than 1 in terms of quantity. There are many negatives than the positives, so we just find the difference and maintain the sign of the bigger number. So the bigger number here is 3. Without considering the signs, 3 is bigger than 1, or there are many negatives than positive. So now we find the difference. The difference is 2, so the answer will be negative 2. And this is the final answer. So we can say g of fx is equal to negative x minus 2. Okay, so we can go down there and record our answer, which is g of f, sorry, g of f, let me write properly. So I'm saying g of fx is equal to negative x minus 2. Okay, so that is the final answer. Okay, we come to question C, which is find g of x negative 7. Okay, so what we need to understand is we need to understand that g of fx we found it to be negative x minus 2. Okay, so we're going to say g, let me first write the question number, which is C, in case people they may get confused. So g of fx is equal to negative x minus 2. Okay, so what we can do now is we can say g of negative 7 is equal to, so where there is x, we're going to put negative 7. So it's a open bracket, negative 7, close bracket, minus 2. Okay, then we can say equal to negative times negative will give us positive 7. Negative times negative 7 will give us positive 7 minus 2. Then we evaluate that. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to say equal to, that will give us 5. Okay, so the difference of 7 and 2 is 5. So 7 minus 2, okay, will give us 5. So that is the answer. Okay, so now after find the answer, what we can do is now we can go and record the answer. So we on C we asked to find g of f negative 7, which is equal to 5. Okay, which is equal to 5 or positive 5. So basically that is the answer. So if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you find this video helpful, remember to like and share with your friends. Thank you so much for watching. And for those who want to join our WhatsApp group for grade 12s, we have WhatsApp group for grade 12s. All you need to do is just join, strictly for revision. If you've got business that you are running, we don't encourage you to join our WhatsApp to learn your own business. That one is strictly for educational purpose. We come to question 20, which is as follows. Question 20a, the points A and B are negative 7, 1 and negative 4, 5 respectively. Find the length of the line AB. Okay, so what is there is we are going to find the length of AB. So before we find the length of AB, what we need to do is let's identify the points. So we have got the points for A and B. Okay, so the points for A is negative 7, 1. The points for B are negative 4, 5. Now we should understand that this is the x1 excuse me, this is y1 and this is x2 and this is y2. So y2 is 5, so x2 is 4. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to come up with a formula. So the formula we use to find distance, which you can say d is equal to, the formula we use is open bracket, then we say x2 minus x1 cross bracket plus y2 minus y1 cross bracket. Now these should be squared. Okay, so now once we have come up with that, then the next thing we can do is replace the values of x2, xy by their actual value. So we say equal to, then the square root, okay, then we open bracket, so x2 is equal to negative 4, then x1 is equal to, so we say minus, x1 is equal to negative 7, then of that squared plus y2 is equal to 5 minus y1 is equal to 1 close bracket squared. Okay, So what we can do now is we find the value, we evaluate what is in the bracket. So we are going to write the square root. So we say -4 minus -7. So what is happening there is we have got -4, then we say negative times -7 will give us +7. So what is the difference? We know that 7 is bigger than 4. That means our answer will be a positive. Then we say, what is the difference of 7 and 4? What is the difference of 7 and 4? Which is 3. So there we're going to have 3 squared plus, then what is the difference of 4 and 1? 5. Sorry, difference of 5 minus 1. What is the difference of 5 and 1? Is 4. So we're going to have 4 squared like that. Okay, it's okay if you don't put it in brackets like the way I've been putting. You just write 3 squared and 4 squared. Okay, so what we can do now is what is there is honestly like this. We have 3 by 3. Okay, and plus 4 by 4. That is what it means by 4 squared. Okay, then once we have done that, once we have done that, what we can do now, we go to the next step, which is say equal to, then we say 3 times 3. So first we write the square root sign. 3 times 3 will give me 9, plus 4 times 4 give me 16. Okay, then what we do is we evaluate. 9 plus 16 give me, so we put the square root sign, will give me 25. Then we find the square root of 25. So the square root of 25 is equal to 5. Okay, so the answer will be 5 units. That's what I'll write here. So the answer is 5 units. Okay, so since I've recorded, so basically that's how we go about it. If you have got questions, please you can ask in the comment section. But basically, this is what you do. Okay, we come to question 20b, which is 2 similar pyramids A and B have surface areas 180 centimeter squared and 80 centimeter squared respectively. The volume of the pyramid is the volume of pyramid A is 810. Calculate the volume of pyramid B. Okay, so what we can do is first let's write the ratio. So the ratio of A to B. Okay, so what is the area of the ratio? We are told A is 180 centimeter cubic or centimeter squared to 80. Okay, so what we can do is we can find a number that can go into 80 and 180. Okay, so what number can go into 80? So let me try to use 20. So when I divide both sides by 20, I'm going to come up with 9. Okay, and I'm going to come up with 4. Now because we are finding the area, so to find the actual ratio, can square root these numbers. Okay, we can find the square root of these numbers. So the square root of 9 is 3. Okay, and the square root of 4 is 2. Remember, I'm dividing these numbers by 20, not 2, by 20. So that is the square root of that. We come to question 20b. Question 20b is as follows. 2 similar pyramids A and B have surface areas 180 centimeter squared and 80 centimeter squared respectively. The volume of pyramid A is 810 centimeter cubic. Calculate the volume of pyramid B. Okay, so for us to calculate the volume of pyramid B, first of all, we need to take note of the ratio that is given. So we are told we have a ratio which is A to B, and then what is the area? So we are given the area, which is for A, the area is 180 centimeter cubic to centimeter squared to 80 centimeter squared for B. Okay, now why am I bringing up the issue of area? These are the two quantities that are given in both pyramids. Okay, those are the two quantities that are given in both pyramids. We are given the two areas for the two pyramids. Now I'm going to derive a ratio from these that will going to help me to find the volume of the pyramid B. Okay, so how do you go about it? So first of all, I'm going to reduce the ratio to their lowest term so that it can be easier for me to find the volume of pyramid B. So to do that, I'm going to divide both sides by 20 and this side by 20. Okay, so 20 into 180, or you can just cancel first the zeros, then you say 2 into 18, it will go 9 times. So if you say 20 in 180, it will go 9 times. So 2 into 18, it will go 9 times. 20 into 80, or you can cancel the zeros, then you say 2 into 8, it will go 4 times. Okay, now once we have found this, now remember we are trying to find the ratio. Now since we are using the quantity which is area, that means I'm going to square root these so that I can find the actual ratio. Okay, so now once I've square rooted 9 and 4, that means now I can go ahead and write the ratio in its simplest form. So the square root of 9 is 3, 2. The square root of 4 is 2. Okay, so that is the square root. Now, what is the ratio of their volumes? What is the ratio of their volume? So now we know that when you're calculating the volume, we multiply 3 quantities. So that means what I'm going to do now is, after I find the ratio, so for me to find the volume, what I'll do is I'm going to get the same ratio. I'm going to get the same ratio 3 to 2. Sorry, 3 to 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to raise them to the power of 3. Okay, 3 raised to the power of 3 is more or less like we have 3 times 3 times 3. 2 again, 2 raised to the power of 3 is more or less like we have 2 times 2 times 2, like that. Then when we find the value, 3 times 3 times 3 will give us 27. 2 times 2 times 2 will give us 8. Okay, so this is the ratio of the volume of this. Now to calculate this one, what we're going to do now, since we are given the volume of the pyramid A, which is 880, so what we can do is we can get the ratio, which is 27 to 8. So this is pyramid A and this is pyramid B. Okay, so what we can do now is the volume for pyramid A, we are told is 880. Okay, so we are going to write 810, not to 880, 810 to this one. We don't know the volume, so what we do is cross multiply. So we have got 27x, which is equal to 810 times 8. So what I will encourage you always is do not evaluate more, especially when it comes to multiplying, because we end up coming up with bigger numbers, which will be very difficult for you to evaluate. So what you can do now here is we divide both sides by 7 and this side by 27. Okay, we divide both sides by 27. So when we do that, that means this 27 and the 27 on top will cancel each other, leaving us with x. Then we say what number can go into 27 and the numbers above. We know that 27 can go into 81. So 27 into 81, it's 1. 27 into 27, it's 1. 27 into 81, it will go 3 times. Okay, so that means it will leave us with x is equal to 30. Remember 0 here, we haven't used it, so we put it to 3. So that is 30 times 8. Okay, then we can say x is equal to, so what is the value of 30 times 8. So ignore 0 first, then we just say 3 times 8 will give us 24. Okay, so we didn't use 0. That means we just put it to the product, and the answer will be 40. Okay, so that is 40 centimeter cubic is the volume. So the question is calculate the volume of pyramid B. So we can say B is equal to pyramid. The volume of pyramid B is equal to 240 centimeter cubic. So please, if you are confused anywhere, you can ask me in the comment section. I'll be glad to explain to you. But basically, this is how you go about it. Okay. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you find this video helpful, remember to like and share with your friends. Thank you so much for watching. We come to question 21, which is as follows. Write 3 inequalities that define the unshaded region R. Okay, so we take time and start the diagram. We can see that the unshaded region, which is called R, is this part. So this is the unshaded part, the triangle that is in between. The triangle that is in between, that is the unshaded part, which is called R. Okay, so now what we can do now is we can go ahead and answer the question. So let me give these lines that I'm going to find the numbers. So this will be number 1, this will be number 2, and this will be number 3. Okay, so how do we go about it? So let's start with the 1. I've chosen 1 because it's simpler. Okay, it's just lying on one line, okay, or 1 point. So we have this one, which is 1. So the line that is there is the line is passing through y, the line y on -2. So we can say the unshaded area, we can say y is greater or equal to the point where it's passing is -2. So now that equation describes that point. Okay, so we can go down there and write our answer. We are saying the first inequality is y is greater or equal to -2. Okay, we come to the next question, which is the line 2. So how can we come up with the line 2? So first of all, this one we need to come up with an equation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the skeleton of the equation, which is to find the equation we usually use y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, where c is the constant and m is the gradient. So what we are going to do is we are going to get the coordinates. Before that, we're going to get the coordinates. So this one is passing here. So when you look at the point where this line is passing through the x-axis, that is it's passing on that is on 2, that is positive 2. So we can say the coordinates there is 2, 0, and here the coordinates are passing the y-axis on 5. That means the coordinates will be 0, 2. Now I'm sure, sorry, not 2, that is 0, 5, not 2, that is 0, 5, because it's passing the y-axis on 5. Okay, those are the coordinates. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to find the gradient, which is the gradient is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus minus x1. Okay, so what you can do is now we put the coordinates. So what you can do is we can say this one is the first point and that is the second. So what is y2? So y2 we have 5 minus y1 is 0, then we say over, then x2 is 0 minus 2. Okay, I hope you are following me. So the answer we'll get is 5 over -2. Okay, so that is the gradient, which is we can write y is equal to negative 5 over 2, then x plus c. Okay, so now the constant, where is this line passing through the y-axis? It is passing on 5. That's why it's passing this I'm talking about the line I'm working on. So this is the line I'm talking about. It's passing the y-axis on 5. So that means the constant will be 5. So we can say y is equal to negative 5 over 2. So the negative sign should not be on 5. Let me write properly. So it should be like that. Then 5 over 2 x plus c. We said the constant is 5. So where there is c, they will put a constant 5 like that. Now, when you look at the line that is drawn, is a solid line. That means our answer will be. Now, when you look at the shaded area, okay, when you look at the shaded area is greater than what is not shaded, so the answer will be less than. Okay, since we are describing the unshaded area, to be less than. Okay, so we can go down there and write our answer, which is we can say y is less or equal to negative 5 over 2 x plus 5. Okay, so that will be the answer. Okay, if you have got questions, please you can ask in the comment section. Okay, now let's come to the line 3. So the line 3 is there. So just like we did with the line A, what we're going to do is we're going to get the coordinates first. So that one is passing through negative 1. So there we have got the x-axis reading is negative 1. So we say open bracket negative 1 comma 0. Okay, then what we do is it's passing, it's crossing the x-axis on 2. So that means the reading on 2, that one could be 0. So open bracket, we say 0 comma 2. Okay, 0 comma 2. Okay, we put it in brackets. So what we can do now, again, we're coming up with the equation. So what we do is we find the gradient. Now remember, I told you that the skeleton for the formula is equal to mx plus c. So let's find the gradient. So the gradient here, you can say m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so what is xy? So this one we take it as 1 and this one we take it as 2. So what is y2? y2 is 2. So we say equal to, so 2 minus y1 is 0 over, then x2 is 0 minus minus negative 1. Okay, minus negative 1. Okay, so what we can do now, we can evaluate that. So we have got 2 minus 0 give us 2, then over 0 minus, now that minus negative times negative. Okay, so here what I'm saying is we have minus negative 1. Okay, so we say negative times negative 1 will give us positive 1. Okay, so that means we are adding 0 plus 1 will give us 1. Then 1 into 2 will give us 2. So the gradient is 2. So what we can do, we come to the equation, the skeleton of the equation is equal to, then we have found the gradient to be 2. Okay, so we have 2x. Now let's go and find the constant. Now when we come to the diagram, we look at where this line is crossing the x-axis. It is crossing at 2. It's crossing the y-axis, not the x-axis. The y-axis, it's crossing at 2. So we say that is positive 2. Then we say plus 2. Okay, then what you can do is, now that is the formula that we have come up with. Now that is the formula. Now what we need to do is just to change this one into equality. So to change this one into equality, look at the shaded part is greater, then the unshaded is less, the area R is less. So the answer will be y is less than 2. Now it's a dashed line or blocking line, which is going to be is less than 2x plus 2, and that is the answer. Okay, I've converted that one into equality. So we can go down and record our answer, which is y is less than 2x plus 2. Okay, unless if you have got questions. If there are no questions, basically that's how we go about it. Okay, we come to question 22. Question 22 is as follows. 22a, given that PQ is equal to 2 over 3 and OQ is equal to 4 negative 1. Sorry, it's not 2 over 3, but it's 2, 3, and OQ is equal to 4 negative 1. Find the coordinates of P. Okay, so to find the coordinates of P, what we're going to do is we're going to come up with the expression which is QP is equal to so QP is equal to Q minus P. Okay, so now what we do is we write the vectors for these points. So we have QP, that is 2, 3, okay, that is 2, sorry, that is 2, which is equal to, then Q with the vector is 4 negative 1, then minus what is P? We are not given P, is what we want to find, so we say X, Y. Okay, now I've put X and Y just the way I'm supposed to put the values of X and Y. So what you can do now, once I've come up with this expression, I can dismantle these vectors into single expressions. So which is, I can come up with 2 is equal to 4 minus X. Okay, so what you can do now here is, first I'm going just to deal with the first expression, that is the one which is on top. Then I'm going to say I'm going to put like terms together. That means I'm going to have 2, then 4 close to the equal sign and becomes minus 4 is equal to negative X. Okay, negative X. Then what we do is we write that. Now what we can do is we just ask ourselves which number is big between 2 and 4. Now remember, I'm not talking about number including the signs, the negative signs. No, I'm just talking about the number. Or in other words, I'm saying which one are main, negatives or positives. So negatives are main, so that means our answer will be a negative. Then we say, what is the difference of 4 and 2? That is 2. Then we say is equal to negative X. So what we can do now is we can divide both sides by a negative sign or negative 1. It's okay, you say I'm dividing by negative 1 or negative sign, it's okay. So that means the negatives will be cancelled out. Okay, that will leave us with 2 is equal to X. Okay, so now we have found the coordinate for P. So let me find where I'll be writing. So let me write here where I'm going to say P is equal to, where I'm going to write my final coordinate. So I have got 2, so I can write 2 there on top. Okay, then since they are telling us to find the coordinates, so I'm going to write 2 like that, comma. Then the next question is, we come back to the expression. So since I used the expression that is on top, now I use the one that is down. So to use the one that is down, I'm going to say 3 is equal to negative 1 minus Y. Okay, so what I do is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put like terms together. Then I'm going to have 3, then this one will close the equal sign, so it's going to be plus. So I'm going to say it's going to be plus. So 3 plus the one will close the equal sign and become positive, so it's going to be plus 1 is equal to negative Y. Then what we do is we evaluate that, which will give us 4 is equal to, so 3 plus 1 will give us 4, then it will be equal to negative Y. Okay, then what we do now next here is we want to find the value of y. That means we divide both sides by a negative. Okay, so it can be -1 or just a negative. So that means this negative and this negative will give us y. Okay, so we are saying y is equal to negative divided by positive 4, or positive 4 divided by negative 4. Sorry, positive 4 divided by negative will give us negative 4. So the value of y is -4. So what we can do is we can go there on the coordinate and put the answer, which is a negative, like that. Now like this, we'll find the coordinate for p. So I can go down and just my answer, which is p is equal to 2, -4. That is the coordinate for p. Okay, unless if you have got questions, but basically that's how we go about it. Okay. Okay, so we come to question B, which is as follows. The sketch represents the graph of the curve y is equal to x squared minus 6x plus 5, passing through A, B, and C. Okay, so we can start the diagram. Then the question is, find the coordinate of A and B. Okay, so to find the coordinates of A and B, what we're going to do is we're going to get the equation that is given, which is y is equal to x squared minus 6x plus 5. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to equate that to 0. Okay, why? Because the y-axis is 0, so the value of y is 0. So we can write it as x is equal to x squared minus 6x plus 5. Okay, now why are we saying it's equal to 0? So I said because this graph is passing the points A and B, the coordinates for y is 0. So that means that's why we're even saying 0. Now we have a quadratic equation there. So what we can do now is we can factorize this quadratic equation. So that means we need to come up with 4 variables. So what we can do is we can imagine that here there is 1. So 1 times 5 will give us 5. So what numbers can we add to give us when we add them, they will give us -6, but when we multiply them, they'll give us positive 5. So those are 5 and 1. So 5 and 1. When you multiply 5, will give you 5. When you add them, they'll give you 6. Now, those numbers, they should give us -6. That means the numbers will be negatives. Okay, they should, when you add them, they should give us -6, and when you multiply them, they should give us positive 5. Those will be -1 and -6. So therefore, we can say -1 and -5, not -6, -1 and -5. So we can say x squared minus x, okay, minus 5x plus 5 is equal to 0. Okay, now once we have done that, that means when we multiply these two terms, so we're going to group them into 2 groups, such that when we multiply them, they'll give us the answer 0. So if it's that the case, that means among these numbers, there should be a number that should give us the answer, which is 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to group them like this. Okay, we're going to group them like that. Okay, so what is there is, we say what is common here is x. So we say x is equal to, then we say x into x squared will give us x. X into x will go 1 time, so we have got 1 there. Then what is common among these, we have got what is common are those we have got 5, which is common. 5 is common, so we're going to say 5 into -5 will give us so we say negative 5 into, so we're going to use negative 5. So we say negative 5 into negative 5x will give us x. Then negative 5 into positive 5 will give us negative 1, like that. Okay, now we can see that what is in brackets is the same. Okay, so since what is in bracket is the same, what we're going to do is we just pick the common elements. So we have got x, okay, x minus 5, we put it in brackets, then open bracket, then we get one of those, we say x minus 1 and put it in brackets, which is equal to 0, and this one should also be equal to 0, like that. Okay, now once I've gotten this, for us to get the answer 0, like I said later on, that means one of these two expressions should be, so if one of the expressions should be equal to 0, so we can say we can equate those expressions. So we can say x minus 5 is equal to 0. So what will be the value of x when it is equal to 0? So we can say x, we put like terms together, then we have x is equal to 0, then 5 will cross the cosine and become positive 5, which is going to be x is equal to 5. Okay, so we have found the coordinate of x. The possible coordinate of x is 5. Okay, now let's find the other possible coordinates. That means we're going to get this expression, which is x minus 1 is equal to 0. Then what we do is we put like terms together. We say x is equal to 0 plus 1, which is x is equal to 1. So the other possible coordinate is for x is 1. Now remember, the y-axis is equal to 0. The y-axis is equal to 0. Now we have found the value of x-axis. So that means we have 1 and 5, the possible solutions. So we know that when you're counting, we start from 0 going upwards. So that means the point A should have the x-axis reading, which is 1, then comma 0. So that is the coordinate for A. Okay, then for B, since 5 is bigger than 1 and if B is further from A or from 0, that means it's going to get the coordinate, which is 5. Then we say 5 comma 0, because the y-axis reading is 0. Okay, so those are the coordinates. So we can go and write the answers. So we can say A is 1 comma 0, B is 5 comma 0. Those are the answers there. Okay, if you have got questions, you can ask in the comment section, but basically that's how we go about that one. Okay, we come to question 22b2. Question 22b2 is as follows. Find the coordinates of the turning point of the curve. Find the coordinates of the turning point of the curve. Okay, so what you can do now is we identify the turning point. So let's go and identify the turning point. So the turning point of the curve should be here, around here. Okay, that's where the turning point is. Okay, so now with that in consideration, let's go ahead and find the coordinates. So before we do anything, let me write the frame for the coordinates, where we're going to be coming to record our coordinates once we get the coordinate for x and the coordinate for y. Okay, so now once we have done that, now let's go ahead and find first the coordinate for x. So to find the coordinate for x, or the value of the reading on x-axis, we're going to use the formula, which is x is equal to minus b over 2a. Okay, so now what is a, what is b? Now when you are dealing with quadratic equations, when you're dealing with quadratic equations like this one, which we have, okay, so any term that has got squared is a, that has got x in it is b, and the constant is c. That you should bear in mind. That means whenever there is b, we're going to replace b by negative 6. Whenever there is a, we're going to replace a by 1, because we have 1x there. So what we can do is now we can go ahead and do the calculation. So negative b, so we have minus, then the value of b is negative 6, which is over 2, the value of a is 1, so multiplied by 1, so we have 1x squared, that is the value is 1, the coefficient there is 1. We just want to indicate it when it's 1. Okay, then we say x is equal to negative times negative 6 will give us 6 over 2 times 1 will give us 2. Then we're going to have x is equal to 2 into 6 will give us 3. So the correct answer is x is equal to 3. So that is the answer. X is equal to 3. So where there is the space for the coordinate for x, we are going to put 3 there. Okay. Now, once we have done that, the next thing we're going to do is now we're going to go to find the value of y. So to find the value of y, what are we going to do? So to find the value of y, what we're going to do is we're going to use the same equation that is given to us. So I'm going to copy it, which is y is equal to x squared minus 6x plus 5. Okay, then what you can do is now let's solve. So now here what will happen is wherever there is x, we're going to put the value of x that we got. Okay, so that means I'm going to write y is equal to, okay, y is equal to, so where there is x, I'm going to put this 3 we got. So I'm going to write 3 squared minus 6. Then where there is x, again I'm going to put 3, then plus 5. Okay, then what I'm going to do is now I'm going to evaluate these numbers. So I'm going to write y is equal to, so 3 squared is more or less like we are saying 3 times 3, which will give us 9. Then negative 6 times 3 give us negative 18 plus 5. Okay, so now I'm going to go and write further. So I'm going to say equal to, so first let me focus on 9 and negative 18. So 9 minus 18, now we know that 18 is bigger than 9. Without considering the signs, whether negative or positive, we just look at the numbers. 18 is bigger than 9. So what we can do is we are going to maintain the sign of 18. We're going to maintain the sign of the bigger number, which is a negative. Then we find the difference of 18 and 9, which is 9. Then plus 5. Again, we write y is equal to, then again we consider which number is big without considering the signs, negative or positive. We just consider the numbers. 9 is bigger than 5 and it has the sign of a negative. So it has a negative sign, and then we can say what is the difference of 5 and 9 is 4. So the value of y is negative 4. Value of y is negative 4. So we can go there on the flame for the coordinates and write negative 4 there. Now once we have done that, we can go now to the answer space which is made. Okay, so here we'll record 3, negative 4 as the coordinate for the turning point. So you can write turning point coordinates if your handwriting can fit, but even when I write the numbers just like this, the markers will give you a mark. Okay, so basically that's how you go about it. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you have found this video helpful, remember to like and share with your friends. Please. Thank you so much for watching. Let's continue solving mathematics. Okay, we come to 23. Question 23 is as follows. The diagram shows the speed time graph of a particle. The particle starts from rest and accelerates uniformly to a speed of 10 meters per second in 5 seconds. It then moves at this constant speed for 5 seconds and then accelerate at 2 meters per second squared for 5 seconds to reach a speed of v meters per second. So the actual questions are as follows. Find the A acceleration during the first 5 seconds. Okay, so what we can do is to find the acceleration, we use this formula, which is acceleration is equal to final velocity minus initial velocity over time. Okay, so when you go to the statement, we are told it started on it was at rest, and then when you go to the question, it says the particle starts from least and accelerating firmly to the speed of 10 meters per second. So we have got their speed is 10 meters per second. Okay, then minus it starts at rest, so the initial velocity will be 0 meters per second. Over time, we are told 5 seconds. So, and even the question said 5 seconds, so we say 5 seconds. Okay, so what we can do now is we just evaluate that. So we have 10 minus 0 give us 10 over, so that is 10 meters per second. Then we say over time, which is time is 5 seconds, 5 seconds. Okay, then we say what is the acceleration? So 5 into 10, it will go 2 times, so that is 2 meters per second squared. That is the acceleration. Okay, unless if there are questions, but basically that is the acceleration. Okay, so we come to B, find the value of V. So we are asked to find the value of V. So to find the value of V, what we're going to do is we're going to use we want to find final velocity. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the same formula which we used for acceleration, is equal to final velocity minus initial velocity, which is over, now we are told in 5 seconds. So it's then accelerates at 2 meters per second squared for 5 seconds to reach a speed of, so that means again time, which is 5 seconds. Okay, so we say equal to, so what is the final velocity? We don't know. What is acceleration? Acceleration we are told is 2 meters per second squared. Okay, then which is 2 meters per second squared is equal to final velocity, we don't know. Initial velocity, so the vehicle was moving at what speed? We are told it was 10 meters per second, so we say minus 10 meters per seconds, then over the time, that is 5. It is given in the statement that it moved at 5 seconds. Okay, now once we have done this, the next thing we need to do is we need to get rid of the fraction. That means we're going to multiply both sides by 5 and this side by 5. Okay, so that means 5 times 2 will give us 10 meters per second squared. Then this 5 and this 5 will cancel each other out, leaving us with equals V minus 10 meters per second. Okay, so now what we can do is we can now find the values of that. So what we do is here what we are multiplying with is 5. So what we can do now is we are going to put this negative will come this side. Okay, so what you can do now is negative 10 will cross the equal sign. We are putting like terms together, so I've got negative 10 meters per second is equal to plus this 10, okay, meters per second, which will give us V. Therefore 10 plus 10 will give us 20 meters per second, which is equal to velocity. That is the final velocity. So the final velocity is 20 meters per second. So now what I can do here is I'm going to write the answer we got at first, which is 2 meters per second squared. The second answer I've gotten is 20 meters per second. Okay, so those are the answers we've gotten. So if there are questions, you can ask in the comment section, but basically that's how you go about it. Okay, we come to C, which is find the average speed for the whole journey. Okay, so we know that the formula for speed is speed is equal to distance over time. Okay, so what they're asking us is the total the average speed. When they ask for us for average speed, which I can say average speed, okay, is equal to the total distance covered, okay, the total distance covered over the total time taken for the total distance covered. So now we can come and find first the total distance. So the total distance, to find the total distance covered or to find displacement on this one, what we're going to do is we are going to do this. First of all, we are going to use these shapes. We're going to find the area of these shapes that are given. So we can also cut here so that we have this longer rectangle like that. Then we have got two triangles. So that means what we can do is let me just write it somewhere where all the expressions will fit. I'm scared here they can't fit. So I've given you the formula. So that is distance. So that is speed. So we can say average speed. Okay, average speed is equal to, so the area of the first triangle. So the area of the first triangle. So I'm going to consider this triangle here. So we're going to use the formula, which is 1/2 times b times h. So b, the base is 5, so I say times 5, then times the height, that is 10, so I say times 10. Okay, that is for the first triangle. Then plus, then we consider this rectangle. Now this rectangle, we are going to look at it from 5 to 15. So the difference of 5 and 15 is 10. So that means we can say 10, we can multiply 10 times 10. Okay, sorry, 10 times 10, like that. Okay, that is the entire rectangle. I've just merged it together. Okay, so that from 5 to 15, I've just made it one rectangle. So 10 and that 10, then 10 on top, so it's more or less like a square. Okay, then we have the other triangle which is on top. The other triangle which is on top, which is this one. So when you look at this one, from 10 to that point, so we calculated that the final velocity was 20 meters per second. So that means 20, so that is 10. From 10 to 20, that is 10. So we can come up with an expression which is plus, we say 1/2 times 10. Okay, then 10 of the base, the base is 5, and then the height is 10, so times 5, like that. Then the whole of that divided by the time that was taken, which is 15. Okay, so the total time that was taken was 15. So what we can do now is we divide, we write what is on top, then divide by 15. So we can say equals to, so 2 down here and 2 into 10, it will be 5. So here it's 1. So 1 into 1. Then we are remaining with 1 times 5 times 5 again, which is going to give us 25. Okay, then plus, then 10 times 10 will give us 100. Then plus, then 2 into 10, it's going to give us here 5. So again, we're going to get 25 here. 1 times 5, it's 5. 5 times 5 is 25. So we have 25 over 15. Okay, so what we can do is we find the sum. So we find the sum of the numbers that are on top. So we say 25 plus 100 will give us 125, plus 25 will give us 150. Then the whole of that divided by 15. So when we divide 150 by 15, will give us 10. So the average speed was 10 meters per second. So we can even record that one to say average speed is equal to 10 meters per second. Okay, so please, basically that's how we go about it. If you have got questions, you can ask in the comment section. If there are no questions, basically these are the answers that we are supposed to write. Thank you so much for watching. It has been easy learning Z Mathematics. The future is bright. God bless you.